action, eliminating Ray here.
Watching enough of this PMWI.
You can participate in the event solo or team up with other players. That's absolutely fine. And you know what? Just like the players in the PMWI, teaming up could get you that reward just a little bit easier.
There's Vampire. You can see, you were talking about them earlier. They're swimming in the river right now. I always think that these river finishes in the middle section near that Rozhok crossing is one of the most brutal places that these circles can finish.
I mean, all these teams on the northern side are going to be dragged across sandpaper, basically trying to get into this circle. It's so unfortunate because you assume it's going north here. TJB got such a nice position, and it swings back down south. Now, I want to see USG, the Japanese team, translate this because they've been given such a good opportunity here for a chicken dinner right at the beginning of the day.
Highton looking to guard them out. Currently on the eastern side of the circle, will stop that.
The edge game perfectly. They've been thrown a little bit of a lifeline here on the southern edge.
Western Europe, right? We saw them initially when they're known as Panda, the Unicorns of Love, then TJB. A team who does decently well when it comes to PMPL, but when they move into regionals, they seem to struggle.
It was like there was a bit of a conveyor belt for TJB to get some eliminations here in this game. Given the circle and where it shifted, north of that river position, TJB had that 2-2 split already in place to greet anybody coming their way. So some nice eliminations for them to start off the tournament.
We've seen right now the perfect breach coming out from Vampire here, just pushing right onto Donuts. And actually, I would say Vampire, in terms of being opportunistic, were 10 out of 10. They waited for Donuts to regroup as a full squad away from their 2-2 split. They see that position, instantly send it forward to take that spot.
And a very difficult thing about Rozhok is its multi-tiered layers of where the buildings are, those angles that you can take against some of these teams. Box fell very much victim to that, to the Vampires, as they swooped down and bit them on the neck. And from that, I mean, it was just a great conversion. I love what they presented here in this first game.
But I feel like at the same time, putting on a match like that, you just basically put a giant bullseye on your back. And also from your fans, right? They expect you now to have this kind of, not maybe this kind of performance with how dominated it was, but they expect you to keep this momentum going. I mean, I guess the upside for them is like you have an extremely good match on the first one of the entire event. We talked about Vampire a lot. We talked about you making a sound. We didn't get to see player stats then.
Very quickly, to move on to the next one, to move on to the next important location, like checkpoints to move to the eventual winning location.
Yeah, and exactly. You saw during those fights, the Ravenclaw was always the one breaching the compounds, right? And he would sure take a lot of damage. Sometimes he would get knocked, but you have one player that has to do the dirty work. He was the one doing it.
He's the tank. He's
exactly.
the tank of the team.
Like,
you got your 2 DPSers. And we can't see healing, so I don't know if we have a healer.
He was tanking the raid, man. He was going for it.
Exactly.
The bosses fell down real quick, but I mean, Ravenclaw really did a lot of work to get the team in those positions, and once they were involved, like it was game over.
I mean, you make a really good point, right? Because if you look at damage received across the boards besides him, it is insanely low for the amount of damage they did and for the amount of eliminations they got. So it seems like their fights were extremely clean.
I think there were moments of opportunistic gameplay as well here, though, at play. If you think about all of the teams that are kind of on that north coast of the riverbank here coming into Rozhok, as they come away from the bridge, a lot of those teams are kind of engaged in a few scrappy fights here and there, and there were moments where Vampire Esports did clean up some of those fights very swiftly and then move into their kind of territory. So that's partially the reason, but just, yeah, great execution.
And I want to give a shout out because we talked about coaches before, right? We actually have Corpai coaching the team. You might recognize him from Power. Same.
Yeah, we mentioned it before, but I mean...
Stories for fan-made memes. You need to make your own and post them over on your own page, and make sure to tag PUBG Mobile Esports as well. And there will be some winners picked out with some lucky prizes. I'm not going to say exactly what they're going to be, but they're good. You're going to want them. Trust me on that one. And speaking of memes, I mean, Max, you are the meme master. Maxman, the Maxman meme master.
I was a meme.
I was good, yeah. Speaking of Max, speaking of memes, Max is a meme. Continue.
Go on.
And what was your question? I went completely off.
There was no question.
Oh, okay. It was just like, okay, I'm a meme then. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, memes are good. I want to see them post on social media. Maybe I'll share them.
You know, I mean, we did have a phenomenal couple of them back in, was it PMGC 2020, of how to beat Bigatron. A1 Esports was a big proponent in how to do that. Maybe we'll have to revive some with the Indonesian. I mean, for here at the event, we have the Indonesian talent, we have the Arabic talent, we have the Turkish talent, so we have some things lined up potentially to do all together for some fun little things.
Pretty much updated version, I would say.
Well, pretty much it's going to be all of us with Max in the center of a circle, and all of us are going to make fun of him and be mean to him
Just
in different languages. Yeah.
Point and laugh, guys. Okay, no, don't do that, please. I'm not
I
interested.
won't. Jason will.
Oh,
Yeah.
he will do that.
Yeah,
right?
But you have to do a
Yeah.
crawdad dance in the middle of the circle.
Could be an emote in the game in the future. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of potential for it. What's up, Cloris? You're looking at me like you don't know what's happening.
I'm enjoying myself.
You enjoy yourself? Okay, well, let's enjoy ourselves by talking about maybe some other teams. Any other guys you want to talk about here that we didn't touch on, either at the top of the show or in that last match?
I would have to talk about here, I would say Wildcats, right? They had some good intention when it comes to their rotation. As we know, they dropped like a sort of item military position around the map. And it was like a tough circle afterwards. You had to go for the wide rotation up north. I think that there was some good intention behind it. The execution was maybe a little bit all over the place. And I think that for them dealing for the first time with this type of lobby, they have to adapt a little bit more. But the idea was there, in my opinion.
Players maybe could affect the number of teams that do opt to go there fully, but then again, maybe not. We were talking a lot about how teams want to hold on to what they've got. Certainly going to make a difference if they make it or not, but we're going to go into Miramar in game number 2. The plane takes to the skies over the desert once more.
So immediately heading up here, Los Leones can pick up a lot of these teams in this current playing path that we will be seeing on your screens very, very shortly. And I feel like I'm telling the future right now. That's because I absolutely am. So a couple of teams could drop it towards Los Leones. There's not too many teams that I've seen so far that be absolutely free. So just looking at this one in particular, Impala for Wildcats, this is a place that they love to go. They're already dropping out in that
taking a knock. Well, look at that very forward position from one of the players from Box. I didn't quite catch the name there, but they are absolutely in the lion's den amongst Seoul, Bensu, with players all around. Omega on that outskirt has the back fall out for Bensu, has a vehicle, sorry, not a vehicle, a weapon as well in hand. Do they know that there's a player here from Seoul?
Ricardo can hold two of these teams, but you do have to be constantly on a swivel here, John, to make sure that no one's creeping up behind you. Box Gaming, very certain on positions that they want to hold around this map. Trisway with the M249, already with a very heavy-hitting weapon, which could be very dangerous should it come to close quarters with these teams inside these compounds. But it would look like Regans as well as Aton Esports have dipped from this location. You can see Regans on our screen, at least on the map feed. You got DD as well as one other player in Los Leones alongside with Aton Esports, actually. So this is very, very interesting. Regans have North and Atons have
another, although Bensu's still pretty close by. A couple of shots have been landed as well between the two teams. But, of course,
there's still chances ahead of you.
And of course, you can complete daily missions to earn points. And once enough points are accumulated, you tap on the rewards icon to claim the corresponding reward.
Looks
like Bensu and
they're mates.
I don't think so. I do not think that they will wait 1 second after seeing one another to try and make it all the worse for them. To stand off. Seoul has backup though.
Another team, Enigma Galaxy, they took 2 points off them last game, ruined their angle, so they'll throw them a coin just this one time. Instead, heading up towards El Azahar on that northeastern side, but Miramar, so they'll take that up on the western edge. They will have to contend with back-to-back, who do love to go for a southern rotation, but it's TJB coming in from Chumacera to ruin their day.
Yeah, they take one of the players from back-to-back down. Early scouting, losing a player, not ideal on Miramar. But sadly, it's the risk you run. Team Seoul looking to put the pressure onto Box. This is a fight. The initiative is being taken by Team Seoul here, Blank. They are choosing this fight. They are making this one happen. Box Gaming looked like they were content to sit back a little bit, maybe it's a strategy. Maybe it's aggression through passiveness, right? Allow them to move to you. Allow them to make those missteps.
Well, way back in day, it was always very hard to break the box formation. That was always the very...
Reload needs to come through. A lot of damage to Bensu, but it's not enough to get the knock. Break, however, finds Goblin. Akshat now flagging for Team Soul. 3 players alive for Box as they've lost 1.
It was actually Regans from the western side that took the knock onto Box. And this was the team that originally liked to play Picardo on that southern edge. And they've just taken a little bit of time in Los Leones, sweep back up here, and ready to reclaim Picardo for their own, knowing that this was going to be a hotly contested spot. Most likely 2 teams locked together. And now they're going to take advantage of this. Very good from Regans.
Soul really suffering under this pressure from Box Gaming. On that western edge. Monte Nuevo, the central focal point of this next circle, just a little bit further out east. It's good for back-to-back right now, who have a lot of that sort of area, despite them losing a player early. If TJB, with GK first moving in there now, can take position there as well on the eastern, so be in a phenomenally strong spot.
So back-to-back able to, regroup just a little bit here in there. And it's so unfortunate because we really are dropping into their original drop spot right now in Monte Nuevo. I don't think it was necessary to send one down south, but this is something they've done before. I think with 18-team lobby, it's not so wise down on the south edge of the map. VGS trying to make their way up behind, see them on the screen. Damwon Kia trying to find a little place to call home.
And one here moving up from the south side on now. A lot of scouts, as you were talking about, getting picked off, right? It seems like we... So far, we've seen 3 one-player losses on Box Gaming, to be fair. That was in a compound fight. So 2 scouts really being picked off right now. 52 and back-to-back, both losing one of those players. We'll see if that comes back to bite them. Both of them a little bit on that western side. I mean, you've got 52 certainly a lot heavier in there, but they're moving in on the northwestern end of Monte Nuevo. Daymar
just about lives here for Falcons, but will be knocked by missile from USG. Makes it happen, looks for some more, but it is an off angle coming through from Falcons. Here on the home turf, trying to keep the rest of their team alive.
Needs to choose who to display the flank to there to get the heal off, but Missile stays alive for now. Yusuf trying to get those shots in. Mikun does get behind cover, takes the spray, but doesn't land more than just the one, just a tickle, and needs to heal up as well.
Yeah, Omikun just has to walk away from that one. Falcons able to send them back just a little bit. They're still both on this northeastern edge. 4 rivals moving down as a 2-2 split between El Pozo as well as Crater Field. So they're trying to get a lot of information gathered nice and early on. Vampire Esports coming down from Puerto Paraíso. They're heading towards Minas del Valle. Honestly, they're going to be moving up through Chumacera in a second, but they've opted to stay outside of the circle and in the blue to make sure no one catches them on this long rotate.
On your screens right now. Holding the ridge on a line. Trying to keep their position safe. South side is the Vampires. They've yet to push on in, yet to start the frag fest that we saw from them last game. The question is it repeatable or is it an Erangel special?
Is it an Erangel special? That is the real question here. John, Nigma Galaxy is still central at the moment.
They're right in the middle there, just a little bit further north, and in fact the circle does shift down a little bit further south. And they will be looking to move with that circle. Right in the middle of it, TJB. They have absolutely slap-bang center circle right now. Damwon Kia, who have been waiting in the wings for their position for a while now. are going to be looking to push on in and maybe try and take control of that central area as well.
Yeah, they're looking to pick up that central area at the moment, back-to-back, moving down at the moment. Enigma Galaxy taking a little while to head into this location, but we are really getting a little bit tough with all these teams crunching up towards the middle. Wildcats, though, coming from Impala on the eastern side, moving through Chumacera at the moment. Seoul with just one player remaining, Hector. Box still yet to break away from Picardo at the moment. It's a bit weird, but it is Seoul actually moving down from Power Grid, just behind Keyed Esports.
I mean, maybe, you know, Box Gaming, they're playing with 3 now. They're just going to try and take things a little bit slower, play that edge, potentially. I mean, it's a difficult position, right? You're playing with 3 now. You've lost that ability to really scout as effectively. With more players, more rotations becoming dangerous, you're not really willing to take those chances, potentially. But they do actually strike out. They move down southwest from their old position, leaving Hector in the dust, and they take that eastern flank of the circle.
Not a bad position for them to be in at the moment for Box Gaming. Obviously down to just 3 players, but 3 elimination points. You'll take that any day of the week, especially here on Miramar. Now, what really can't happen here for a lot of these teams, you know, is Vampire Esports. They know that they're being headhunted right now. If they start to get ahead once again in this match, things become extremely difficult for a lot of these other teams to start catching up if they continue that momentum going forward. Right now, though, they are really squeezed tight on that southern edge, just around Chumacera, with one other team in Wildcats coming in just behind them. Schweppes from Vampire Esports, though, will have the bead on Wildcats, where the rest of the team in 3 are just ahead of them towards the north, so they should get info on this nice and early.
Yeah, on a 3-1 split, or maybe even a 1-2-1 split from Vampire Esports. Just taking a look at where they are sat on the map. They are yet to fully regroup. They did play a lot of that Northern Rostock at some points. They played in that 2-2 split, so they are used to playing a little bit more of that split play style. Certainly that would be the evidence from the last game anyway, and it certainly worked.
Another look at the map here. It's just getting real
Cats, and they are yet again suppressed on this ridgeline. Really difficult, but Vampire Esports looking to potentially be down to 3. They've lost their Schweppes on the outside there, and they will be at 3. They had 4 in that previous game, but the circle moves to them.
I mean, if they get another circle shift, though, they are in a real safe spot. Like, look how hard it is to approach these buildings. The only issue they might fall into is without those 4 players, it does become a little harder to pick up on all these angles. Again, though, Aton Esports is their difficulty going forward, and it looks like Vampire Esports know that this is a position on the map that they need to watch out for. Really good stuff from Flukuth. His shots have been on point. He's been looking all over the map at the moment, really keeping it clean here for Vampire Esports.
I mean, that was one of their characteristics of the last game, right? Snappy engagements, I think Matt said on the desk. Making those clean engagements. That's exactly what you want to be looking for. Even better on Miramar.
Damonkia still struggling to just find anywhere that's super concrete for them. It's on the edge of this hill at the moment. 52 Esports coming into play here. Enigma Galaxy, one of their players, I believe it was Hamodi, did go down here. They're just trying to get down through the circle on that northern side.
It looks like 3 of them are down. They're losing players left and right. Enigma Galaxy suffering heavily. They had not the best of starts, losing 2 players early in the last game. The first team to go down, in fact. I think it's just Freak alive for them now. At the back as well. Not really a chance to get these reses. Going down first twice in a row. Not the way you want to start your tournament. Certainly would be a disaster. Team Seoul, though, seem to be survivors. They were on 1 for the longest time in that first game. And out they go. Yet again, first team eliminated.
A miserable start here for Enigma Galaxy. Really not fun. But you know what, John? There's still Sandhawk ahead for them. And honestly, that is the map where they prevail the most.
They know how to survive. They know how to get it done. But there's more frags on the hillsides as Donuts USG looking to move up past 4 rivals. And only Jumper can stand in their way now. 52 as well in the back line. Difficult to deal with as Jumper spotted away. That was it. I don't even know who that was, but
Virtual Gaming Squad took
top of one of their own teammates, but they take an enemy down in the process. I'm not sure if that's worth it at this late stage.
Damwon though, you see, they have just been keeping an eye out all over the place, and this ties right back into what the Des was saying at the beginning of the day. They are a survivalist team. They're going to try and see how far they can get, but 52 Esports still trying to lay claim around this area.
I agree. An applause ringing out there. Not too sure what that was for, but
52 Esports.
But excellent backup coming through to be able to shut that one down. Vaz taken out there. Juni, he still has the DBS.
Yeah, it's Korean meta at the moment. All of them use it over in the...
Pretty much one of the few compounds in this next circle play.
This is very unfortunate for the team from America, just struggling just a little bit here in the PMWI. Stalwart, though, looking for another consistent game here. That's what I want to see from Stalwart, and we could get some more hope into this team. Action, though, coming over the top and just descends upon VGS. Like we've seen nothing before. Goodness me, swoops in. Talons are strong and sharp. There's nothing you can do against them.
And they should be able to get everyone back up as well. So a full force Stalwart, definitely something to worry about. Pain, run. Down there after the knock. Down one Kia move up to Daku. Pops out the window, spots Fabian. Needs to be worried about the teammates from the off angle though, but finds the cover from the shack. Through the windows, the bullets pour in, and it's going to be a tall order to get anything done, but Fabian goes down. In the meantime, 52 are eliminated, however. That will slow down one Kia on that northwest flank.
Yeah, TJB have been harassing this team the entire time, and they might just have to leave Fabian behind. Lin moves up, tends to be the first player to move up a lot of the times for TJB. Sometimes it goes wrong, sometimes it goes marvelously. It's hard to say here with Lin. He's really kind of shaky as a player in terms of being extremely good, or sometimes just not so great.
Volatility, that's really a characteristic of his gameplay. Sung and Juni, two players for Damwon Kia. Wildcats under fire as well from Falcons.
Terrible timing here for STE to try and claim this building that Regans are currently in. Falcon, they just come in at just the right time. Fantastic stuff for them. Laying in the utility. Regans already finds an aid over the top and never
able to take hold of this compound if they keep going. Phenomenal performance on this crash from them, but TJB have oversight. It's difficult to handle now. It's difficult to stymie that pressure. But they will try and lock down those angles. Only action in the compound.
This is what I said for Saudi Arabia. They had to move right now into those buildings, and they took that call, and they made that call in the moment very, very quickly, dropped the utility in, and STE and Regans completely blindsided by the absolute decimation that was laid upon them by the Molotovs, the grenades. Even I saw smoke get thrown in there as well.
Look at that. The replay there from Ravenclaw as well. Phenomenal. A duo for Vampire Esports. 7 elimination points, looking to take out the Wildcats as well. It's only X-Ray. TJB have an angle, potentially onto Ravenclaw, but he's just... TJB and the home team here in Saudi Arabia and Riyadh, Falcons.
This is going to be really difficult, though, because TJB... You know, they can't lose any of these players they've sent to the edge side, but this is a very strong split that they're currently employing. It's going to be difficult for any sight lines not to be open to these guys when Falcons do start to move out of this building. So really, really tough stuff. Action just needs to hold his ground, stand his ground here.
Oh, I think he spotted a little shuffle there from Powerful. GK first. Trying to suppress those angles. There's the first angle. TJB have such good vantage points, like you were saying.
I know what Falcons are trying to do here. They're trying to get rid of Action, but he is just throwing him for a loop. Takes so much damage and finally goes down to Never Alone. So they do secure that second place. Great stuff from Falcon. Now they need to fight back.
No answer towards GK first. Never Alone taking heavy tick damage from the blue. Down to 3. Damar gets res. So Yusuf and Damar, a duo in the forefront. But TJB storming down this hillside, nading through the window, putting everything under pressure.
Which is happy days for us, right? But honestly, TJB, fantastic stuff. Really, really good split at the end there just to eliminate any angles that Falcons might have taken. But again, big, massive props to Saudi Arabia from Falcons in those last moments to be like, can place.
I mean, the Falcons weren't able to claim it. They did really quite well. TJB, they got that circle shift. I think circle, what was it, 3 or so, where they were right in the middle. And they then had to move down from that northwestern side. So happy days.
Yeah, massively so. I think TJB, they were on that western edge for a long, long time, but slowly made their way in. It was a little...
Predicted. He saw the zone go their way, and he's like, TJB win these. And they did. And it was good.
He said that as if... Anyway, we have ourselves, them getting themselves a win. It was brilliant stuff to actually see them actually take this. But admittedly... It's a home circle for them, effectively, to be able to control these. That having that Chumacera split gives them a great opportunity to find themselves those nice high ground spots to be able to stage their plays from, and they do traditionally when we and lower here in this lobby, 6th through 18th, really didn't get much Picardo split, and I think have much more success in their next Miramar games.
That's what VOD Review is going to help out, right? They're going to see that opportunity, like, okay, we're going to go right for that spot, and if it works out for them, they could find some chicken dinners over on Miramar.
We are seeing, look at this.
How many points in just 2 games to start?
Well, if you guys have actually missed the match, luckily for you, we have some highlights brought. Went down. And of course, TJB is going to start things off here. And why wouldn't it, considering they took home the chicken dinner?
Up in terms of like a full split south of Picardo. But they were actually one person there and 3 people up towards La Bendita, kind of rivaling where Morph was. They can go back to that South Picardo split and I think have much more success in their next Miramar games.
That's what VOD Review is going to help out, right? They're going to see that opportunity, like, okay, we're going to go right for that spot, and if it works out for them, they could find some chicken dinners over on Miramar.
We are seeing, look at this fluke, highest damage, grenade eliminations as well. Remember, we do have, was it $5,000 for the player with the most grenade eliminations throughout the event?
I don't remember the exact amount, but it is a decent amount of money. I can tell you that much.
I'm going to be honest. At this point, it might all go to vampires. Every single penny of it. In terms, if you get 52 points.
now they're all going to be playing Orm for the next one to get the Eagle Eye.
It's ridiculous to see them get that many points in just 2 games to start.
Well, if you guys have actually missed the match, luckily for you, we have some highlights brought to you by Sony here, as we're going to take a quick little recap of what all went down. And of course, TJB is going to start things off here, and why wouldn't it, considering they took home the chicken dinner?
I mean, it's home territory, right? You do not mess with the Chumacera location. If you do, TJB, they're going to be lurking in the shadows, ready to strike at any opportunity coming their way. So you got to be careful about it. And I think that teams might be looking back on this game and saying, like, okay, Chumacera, let's be a little bit careful around that.
And I think it's cool as well because normally when we see TGB actually get themselves wins around Chumacera, it's kind of like the circle came to them and they really didn't have many people rivaling their positions and then they kind of win. But in this game, that wasn't really the case. There were a few breaches onto their position that they had to defend from, and then once they realized that they have command over the circle, as you were mentioning towards the end, they pincered Falcons. They gave them no room, no opportunity to be able to get out of here, and Zhao's position on the overlook here, perfect to shut them down.
Yeah, I don't like using the word impossible, but I think it's...
Overlook, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's down. Is the overlook like this?
No, that's a plateau.
So is this still... I don't know.
I don't know why I'm
doing this. Go ahead.
I don't know what I'm trying to... But I don't like using the word impossible, but I think in this case, it is almost impossible for Falcons to get out of that situation. It's just how good the lockdown from TJB actually was. So, and it's great. Like, Western Europe is not a team that... No, sorry, not a region that we usually know as great when it comes to...
Because it's not just Zhao's position that is actually oppressive from there. It's also the fact that they
like super early. I think they got 0 points game 1 and 2 points in this second game. I think they need to get himself back on track a little bit. It's only the first map of each. Like, we had one Erangel, one Miramar. they can still adapt right on the next iteration of these maps, but they are struggling a little bit.
But I feel like from our assessment of Nigma Galaxy when we watch them, I feel like they are a team of averages. And I feel like 2 games, small sample size, we can quite easily see them play out across an 18 gamer and find themselves in a bit of a better position. So, yeah, I think they've got things to fix for these 2 games, but I won't spell doom for them. I think they're all right.
We're not even halfway done with the first day. Like, it's okay. There's still time to adapt and bring some changes.
Yeah, no, impossible. Impossible. Max isn't hardly say
You can't use that word. You can't, you can't do it.
Max's favorite word, I heard. Impossible, yeah.
I don't think so.
No,
I think I just said the opposite like 5 minutes ago, but okay, it's fine.
Exactly.
I thought Max's favorite word was stop it.
Stop it. When I'm talking to you, yes, that's in my vocabulary all the time.
Let's actually jump into a quick head-to-head here between our 2 top-performing teams in the last match. Obviously, got to take a closer look at TJB here and just kind of the overalls. And again, Falcons, the position they were in, some really good damage being done. And we obviously, if you guys haven't watched any of the other titles that we've had here in G8, this team, well, not this team in particular, this organization actually in another title surprised the world with how well they've done. And I know Max has been talking very highly of Team Falcons and how they could do it yet again here in PMWI for PUBG Mobile.
Yeah, and in particular, when you're looking at this tournament, right, I think there's like a stigma around invited teams, right? They're not going to perform as well.
Yeah, right. Like, why are they there? They don't deserve to be here.
But they won like PMP Arabia for the full season, right? They are currently the reigning champions of Arabia, so there is that background to them.
They didn't just win it. They were almost 100 points ahead of second place. I feel like they should have been here, and then in the next stage, and then in the next stage. That they could have invited them to the end of time, considering the kind of performance that they were able to put up in their region as a whole.
Yeah.
So,
and they
ridiculous.
Also dethrone Nigma Galaxy as well, who was third place in PMGC, who was dominating Arabia, the team with the most chicken dinners out of any other PMPL. Like, this is actually a really good sign, but also it makes me kind of sad because. Sad and happy, I guess, if I think about it. Sad that like teams that are so consistent, look at like Bigatron, I mean, maybe Nigma Galaxy now, teams who generally perform really well, just have these like ups and downs throughout the year. But then also I'm kind of happy because you get to see these new teams come out of nowhere, and maybe Team Falcons, maybe we'll see them in PMGC, maybe they could pull off an upset.
Yeah, I mean, it's very surprising too because when you compare Nigma Galaxy and Falcons, like Nigma Galaxy have that international experience, right, in PMGC. They've already played that.
Yeah.
And they actually did really well, right? They got, what, 3rd place, I believe it was, last year. So they couldn't technically perform at this level, and Falcons just came in as a huge surprise already and are performing so well. So the question is, can they keep that rhythm going? If so, there's a chance that they can compete, except for Vampire because they got like 50-something points,
Yeah, they were ultra consistent in their regional.
Yeah.
It's fair to say. I think with like, we even saw back-to-back first places coming in from them when it came to kind of their approach to the game as a whole. And again, I think that they're cutting in this game in particular to just then hold off the Regnums as well as STE's kind of battle that was going on. It's the perfect opportunistic play to say, okay, there are these 2 big powerhouse teams clashing head to head, but this is a stranglehold on your ability to continue in the game. You might be able to defeat each other, but you're not going to get any further in this game because we've set up a barrier for you to do anything else.
Okay, well, this is a nice little talk about Team Falcons as well here. I want to learn a little bit more about them, though, in a series we like to call This or That.
M7. It's faster. I have a skin, so I have to use it. The UMP, less recoil, and I think it's faster. Erangel. The roads are not bumpy, and your car gets stuck in Miramar, so Erangel is way better. Puchinki, yeah. Movie theater. But I like cats more. In Saudi, it's winter. Water rotation. Buggy. A 7.62. Joker is a lot cooler. M24. I can get a lot of knocks, but with the car, like I can't do. Like, I don't know how to shoot the shot. Psychological issue with the gun.
Well, great to hear some this or that from them. It's great to learn a little bit more, like cats versus dogs. Max, cat or dog?
Dog, 100%. I'm not even thinking about it, and I think you're the same.
Yeah, I'm allergic to cats. They're rubbish.
Especially for you, then.
Well, you know what? Maybe not a veterinarian, but for hospitals, Dr. Soliman Habib, obviously a big shout out to him as well for putting on this event. We're helping support this event as well here for all of us who are watching, and maybe if you're playing as well, you should be pretty happy about it coming through. And actually, I heard a story, not to like promote them even more, there's actually a free hospital like right near this event where you can literally just walk in if you need anything, x-ray in 15 minutes, get bandages, anything like that really quickly. So it's actually really, really cool. I'm really
They
happy to
string
hear
their
that.
thumbs, on the phone. They can you can go.
I wasn't talking about players, but I just meant in general. But really
Hey,
cool.
gaming
Free
is
healthcare.
intense, man. Okay,
We're looking after the
does
players,
go.
Jason, all right? That's our priority.
That's true. That is true. Players are priority number one when it comes to any esport. But gentlemen, we're gonna be heading into our next map like soon-ish, right? That's a big one.
Uh-oh.
You know what map it is, right?
Uh-oh.
Gonna be Sandhawk.
It's going to be Sandhawk, and this is where things are going to be very interesting. If it wasn't chaotic enough when it came to 16 teams, well, we now have 18 teams going to be on this map. And Max, I know you've been talking about boot camp a lot when it comes to this.
Boot camp, you got 3 teams drop in there. Like, it's going to be absolutely hell. And we know as a fact that a lot of the teams are very stubborn. Like, they are not going to give that location away. And also the heal-off. Enigma Galaxy, TJB, they're also going to commit to it potentially. That's going to be also a very interesting interaction.
Yeah, no, definitely. We've as studying has gone on, yes, there are some people that are notorious for that heal off. Maybe there's going to be a little bit of a change for some of these teams in terms of who is actually doing the healing themselves. But as you say, in terms of drops, boot camp's a hot topic. Trifecta split has been a hot topic when we've been looking at some of these teams. Will be conflicts here and there, and as well as trying to transition from location to location, be it the Northwest Island, the Southwest Island, and the mainland. That's why the Trifecta split was really cool. We saw Damwon Kia trying to employ it in their region, but then they got kind of pushed off. I'm just excited to see if we get the conflicts that I'm expecting to see happen here at the beginning of the game.
I hope it is. I hope it's going to happen, to be honest. But at the same time, you got the Galaxy, you got TJB, you've got heal-offs. We saw
To see some 3,000 heals coming out. I'm going to go, the highest one will be 3, Jason.
Read the script. We agreed we would not do that.
Sorry, I apologize.
I can't with this guy. I can't.
I can't with either of you. No, I'm
I
kidding.
can't with us, yeah.
But I mean, like, the thing is, I know we knocked on it a little bit when it came to PMPL Western Europe with TJB constantly doing that, but it's a viable strategy on a map with $2 million on the line. If you can sit in the blue, heal off, then why not?
I mean, there's an interesting factor you got to add to the mix, right? Is that if they do both commit to that Same split to get all the meds right, whichever team eliminates the other, you pick up all of that. Like, you could see like 4,000 maybe.
This is your meds? This is my meds.
My meds now.
That's right, that's right. And it becomes even more challenging when you consider it's 18 teams on Sandhawk. This is not a big battleground. So limitation in drops. I want to see Camp Bravo as well as that split going down. We'll see if that fight continues on.
Yeah, we do have Sandhawk coming up next, but once again, I want to remind you guys at home what's all going to be going down as we do have the Vibe and Drive event currently happening. During the event, you can log into the game and complete the corresponding missions with your friends if you have them. If you don't, Max will help you out. You can get your hands on a free permanent legendary set, so make sure you guys don't miss it. Make sure you guys are checking out as much as possible there. You can see the dates. It runs through the 24th, starting on the 11th. But it's time now to head into Sandhawk here onto the Moist map where there's going to be a lot of healing, a lot of blood, and a lot of eliminations for these teams. John Allen and Blink, take it away.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to, as I was saying, the 3K plus healing that Kilaris has foretold. He read that script, and we're going to be looking out for it. 18 teams on Sandhawk. Chaos, chaos, chaos. That's what we're waiting for. That's what we're looking to see. Max was excited about the boot camp drops. I'm excited to see who decides to go elsewhere, who decides to take the L on their original drop spot and go around the way.
Yeah, so actually for Enigma Galaxy, you'll find this quite interesting.
Okay.
This is a little tidbit for you.
I'm prepared.
For their actual Spring 2022 finals, their Sandhawk was their most successful map out of all of them.
Oh.
They had a third, then they had a second, and then they had a first. So it just got better throughout the tournament for them. And that's over all Sandhawks that they played. So that's kind of insane for Enigma Galaxy as a team. So this is where they can start to make back some of their points. Unfortunately, though, like I said earlier, Enigma Galaxy has had a bit of a miserable start, to be honest with you. And I'm not sure how I would be feeling in the situation, especially at a live event like this. I don't think I'd be feeling too good. But Sandhawk, now it's time to bring those points back and see if Enigma Galaxy can do it. Again, though, it is that boot camp drop, which is going to be ridiculous. It's Regans, it's Box Gaming, it's Stalwart, all potentially in one place, battling out for boot camp.
That lobster is going to be real hectic in just moments time in the middle of it. You must know, you know.
I know the lobster. It's going to be drenched in players in a second. It's going to be a big problem for boot camp. Alternatively, everyone could leave boot camp alone, and it's not worth it here in the 18-team lobby, especially with there being so little landmass here on Sandhawk in particular.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tricky to find those places, to find that area, to call your own. And already, teams starting to drop out. I'm looking at the Wildcats heading north. They play a hot-in split normally on the Sandhawk drops. We saw that in those practice games earlier. Looks like they're not going to change that. And let's look at the boot camp teams. Down one passing over it right now, down one Kia and Stalwarts potentially looking to land. I think down one Kia are going to head further north given their speed. Back-to-back drop a little bit short. Actually, Aton go to Painan right in the middle of that map. One team in boot camp, only Stalwart right in the middle of it. Seoul spread out in the hills to the east.
I mean, to be honest with you, I wouldn't challenge Stalwart out for boot camp either. I think they pretty much just win that every single time. I think you have to out-macro Stalwart just because they are so strong in an individual fight. TJB and Nigma Galaxy down towards Sami, though. This is quite interesting. Nigma Galaxy usually do a Sami split anyway, so it's TJB kind of encroaching on the territory. Now, Nigma Galaxy, the problem for them is they'd love all of Sami to themselves to pick up as many meds as possible, but they might be getting into a fight early that they don't want to take, and TJB, once again, from Miramar, causing problems for Nigma Galaxy.
It's really not fun. But I'll tell you what would be fun. If you complete daily missions to earn points for the PMWI Watch Together, once you get enough points accumulated, tap on the rewards icon to claim the corresponding reward.
Well, that's GZ going down for Regans, but for that event, you can participate solo or as a team. And remember, playing solo is absolutely okay, but teaming up could get you some more rewards.
Certainly would make it easier, but we're going to be getting into this game. Losing a player early for RSG Sandhawk could be disastrous. For Regans Gaming, GZ, as you said, Blank, goes down, right? Sandhawk, the most important map to keep all four alive in terms of needing that firepower on your feet, right? You need to have it all up. You need to have that ready in your arsenal, but Lightning goes down as well. Team Seoul for India. Finding two so far. Goblin does get knocked in response. It's only him in that little outpost there, but there's two players for Regans Gaming. They're going to be slow just a little bit, but I don't think Goblin is long for this world. Will be taken down. Regans Gaming. Harry.
Regans obviously abandoning that boot camp drop. Have to go somewhere else.
They will have to try and find something, make something of their position. In the meantime, we see TJB and Enigma Galaxy split apart just a little bit. Neither of those teams have lost players just yet, so they didn't really want that fight. I mean, TJB, if I'm not mistaken, also kind of tried to play the southwest side, right, in the European tournaments, and try to play from that area. So that hot drop maybe could have been foreseen just a little bit. But Enigma Galaxy, for the first time, don't lose a player on that initial engagement.
My God.
Back to back. How?
Oh, that is shameful.
You'd think with a DBS, one of those would have landed.
Especially when you're laid down with the DBS on the drop of a player. You hear that, like, 4 shots went out there, and he still did not go down.
There was 6, wasn't there?
6 shots, so maybe he was just shooting his toes off. That wasn't quite enough to take him down. He's now running on his, basically, ankles. He's still alive, though, so it's fine.
Just ankle bones, just like, I mean, it's probably quite soft earth in Sandhawk,
yeah,
right?
He has
it's quite
speed
humid
now, right?
Yeah, he's got traction on the hills.
Yeah, he's just flying forward. 4 rifles moving up towards USG's position. Missile did go down for Donuts, trying to get up the stairs. Just about makes it, though, but that Molotov should seal the deal, but go short, unfortunate.
I think it just hit the eaves there and bounced down. The missile's not going to get rezzed here for USG Donuts. 4 rivals should be able to pick up that point lickety-split. And there it is. The nade seals it. Their fate will be run from here. 4 players, 1 elimination for 4 rivals.
Back-to-back, trying to play down towards the west side of Quarry with Aton Esports as well. So Aton giving up Camp Bravo to USG. USG so far just kind of had their drop spots to themselves. You know, they couldn't take El Pozo, but they took El Azhar to themselves. Now taking Camp Bravo. Yes, 52 Esports are coming in from Mongnai, but it's not a big deal for them, though. USG have got real pick of the litter so far on all these maps.
I was just looking at some of the other drop spots because we focused a little bit on the engagements that we saw on screen, but I was looking at the Wildcats. I'm not sure if they dropped initially there, but they didn't actually opt to put a player on the eastern shoreline, right? They didn't opt to have that presence or keep that presence there, certainly. I'm not sure if they had that originally, but they have regrouped to that western shoreline near Hatin on the northwestern island. So they don't really have that strength or confidence in crossing, potentially. They don't really know about the ground around Paradise Resort, which is currently being vacated by VGS.
Yeah, VGS taking this position for most of their Sandhawks already. Paradise Resort is their home. Hatin being, you know, the general spot that we would see Wildcats dropping in anyway on Sandhawk. Vampire Esports, though, taking shots onto Flukath here from TJB, who've really started to heat up here in this tournament.
I mean, certainly a good game last time around. Taking that chicken dinner, and they're pushing in. Vampire Esports, though, not a team to push over. This team has been absolutely on fire so far, as they were talking about on the desk, topping the tables right now. Top dogs. Or cats, if you prefer.
I do prefer, actually. Vampire Esports, so they did get that really nice ruin split at the beginning of the game, and now they're really trying to get out of this difficult situation. They've had so much time to set up here in Ruins, and TJB completely taken them by surprise on the coast.
Excellent crossfire established there by TJB. 2 players going down. There is no chance you get them back up. Ravenclaw and Flukath now left. 2 players alive. The Vampire Esports maybe looking for a nade, some damage over Tingsker, but Xiao rezzed back up for TJB.
Ravenclaw would love to find at least one more knock here. Nade over the top, but as time goes down, but it's Flukath who has been really strong throughout all these games, finds Lin, and that is a little bit of pressure taken off from him. He was right in the midst of all these players from Vampire Esports. So far, Stoned as well as Schweppes have yet to be eliminated. There is still chance for recovery here for Vampire Esports with Virtual Gaming Squad on the northern side, just coming down from Camp Alpha. This could be a third party.
But there is absolutely a clock ticking. GK First lands a beautiful shot to Flukath on the ridgeline. GK First has been pivotal in this fight. He was the person who was part of the crossfire in those initial 2 knocks on the buggy players, and he's just taken down the 3rd member from Vampire Esports. This is GK First at his best.
It is very unlikely that Vampire Esports walk away with this one from any more than just 1 player. Now Ravenclaw is on the run, and TJB, they are hunting down this final player quickly behind him. Very good stuff so far.
1 player alive, yeah. You just got to get out of that. Try and keep yourself alive. This is where the heal strat could come in. Right, for Vampire Esports, they could potentially try and just send Ravenclaw up to get as many first aids as you can. You're playing on that southwest side near Tambang. You can try and just loot up these compounds, grab as many meds as possible. 4 boosters total, 2 first aids. You've got 10 bandages to see you through as well. Ravenclaw could potentially use that time. It's still early circles. Get loot, get first aids, and play for a survival game.
Yeah, as a single player, there is a lot you can do as a single player. So by no means is this over. Realistically, I think the person that won out the most between this engagement is Nigma Galaxy. The fact that TJB disengaged from Sami means that Nigma Galaxy had time with this new circle to head down towards Bantai, potentially up to Camp Charlie, looting up some more of those meds. Ralph used to be the big healer for the team, but more recently it's been Lord doing a lot of it, so we will see who exactly decides to go for that one. But this next circle favoring Falcons once again, so another time to really put up those points, put up those numbers for Falcons themselves. We will see what happens with Morph GGG still trying to make it happen here in this tournament.
A particularly alliterative Quarry Camp Cave Kampong finish is potentially on the cards here as the southeast circle shifts in more from the south coast, like you were mentioning there, Blank. 52 potentially getting spotted out by Donuts USG here. It's over towards the north side of Lakawi on the north end of the circle. 52 trying to move down the coast.
This is a horrific spot to play from 52 Esports. I mean, I've dropped here before, and if you get a team or some players on this ridgeline looking down towards you, it is very hard to leave. Even with just the 3 players that Donuts has,
2 versus 4 that they're on this ridgeline with, but it's not going to matter. Immediate knocks coming through, and 52 are torn apart, decimated. 5.2 now, Blank.
They just completely break down. It is very, very unfortunate. You're right. These guys got divided up with a couple of quick slashes coming through from the Japanese team. And now it's Pain running away. And you can tell that this team is absolutely in pain. They try and just get away from this kerfuffle. And honestly, that's what happens. And Donuts USG must have been trailing this team for a long, long time. And once you get on that down slope, you know, there's no cover whatsoever. Great angle taken by Omikun to really open up that engagement, especially having the confidence to do that 3v4 as well. They knew that they had the angles to make it happen. And those are the kind of points that you just need in this tournament to keep bumping up your leaderboard.
The circle's not going to hurt too much just now. So teams like Wildcats, who are very far north at the moment, leaving a player even as far back as Tap Mock, just passing Paradise Resort now that we saw Virtual Gaming Squad leave earlier. They are going to be okay for the time being. And they will have had plenty of time to loot up those meds, play for potentially that one out there. TJB as well, in the meantime, all the way out near Narcam, and Sami still has the last player from Vampire Esports.
And this is the difference between Nigma Galaxy, who dominates on a map like Sandhawk, and TJB, who tries to go for a heal strat here on Sandhawk. They're out in the blue so long. Nigma Galaxy tries to push in as far as they can into these circles before they start going for the heal strat. They already took the boat down from Bantai, headed over towards Dockside. Now they're going to move up, cause as much chaos as possible in these final circles with potentially 3 or 4 members. Then drop one guy behind. He's not had to use any medical supplies all this time until he goes into blue, and that's what gives them the edge on any of these other healing teams. But they have such confidence, such good ideas of how all the other teams rotate to stay out of the way for as long as possible to make that happen.
Damwon Kia have taken a couple of knocks on that north side with 52 trying to move past. The next circle just about to shift on in.
All right, Vampires.
That's okay. I mean, what can you do? What can you do?
All right, Vampires.
Okay, all right. Okay. A lot of this is, well, it's not, obviously it's not just Sandhawk stats. This is the first Sandhawk we played so far this tournament. They are going to be looking pretty healthy, especially after that first game. What was it, 26 limbs, 24 limbs?
24,
in the first game coming through. That's really just going to pump those stats. It's going to be a while before we don't see a Vampire up there.
Yeah, it's very, very crazy stuff so far coming through from Vampire. Honestly, it's just a case of, you know, you raise from your coffin in the morning, easy peasy, back in the coffin at night. You know, they're just slamming the lid on the first day already with that massive performance in game 1. So really, really good stuff. Now, Circle centers up, which is very, very nice here for Nigma Galaxy. They can really just keep it easy on this southern edge.
Wildcats spot Damwon Kia and further hamper their progression down south. Junie looks for the retribution onto X-Ray. Sung's taken a lot of damage in the meantime, but X-Ray escapes unscathed there. A long spread out progression line for Wildcats, but there's the answer. Junie taken a knee there to Boran from the Wildcats. Starting to move forwards, wants to play aggressive. 2 players knocked for Damwon Kia now. Sung and Forrest standing.
Damwon just do not look confident. Honestly, we're so used to their playstyle of heading center very early and taking control of that. And it almost feels like they're afraid because of this 18-team lobby to actually go for something like that. But that's where they excel. They're really good at controlling those final circles, but they never have the opportunity so far. And I think this is something that might need to change over the next 3 games or potentially even coming into tomorrow. But will it be too late by then? We'll just have to wait and see. With Vampire Esports going out very early here, though, it does give a chance to some of these other teams at the top.
Forrest trying to heal up. It looked like Damwon Kia actually got all 4 of themselves back up. Okay, fair enough. They were allowed to res. The pressure not quite there from the Wildcats, but they will be known. They will know that this rotation is coming through. If there's a boat in Lakawi, you might even want to take that and sail down south. But even then, you got Nigma Galaxy. The absolute machines here on Sandhawk to deal with if you want to try and take that route.
Yeah, 2 points in 16th place to 18 points in 5th place with Box Esports. I mean, you can easily jump up a lot here. Freak stays behind at the moment, looking to pick up some more meds. Not sure if he'll regroup with the team. Honestly, they're able to, it's interchangeable, which their healer is at the end. It just very much, I was talking to Kalaris about this actually, and we were having the discussion. He was saying, it's very interchangeable who your healers are, particularly because, it's very different setups. You don't want to switch over weapon types that someone's more comfortable with. So you just give the guy who's got the most medical supplies, because it's easy to just splurge out a ton of first aid kits on the floor than it is to switch out entire loadouts.
The next circle just about to pop. It's really moving down towards Kampong, towards docks. See where the next one does fall. And it's fairly central, northwest, just to the east side of Quarry. Team Seoul, with their backs to Quarry, have a pretty solid position to hold, but they're most likely going to have to leave it in the next phase. Looking at Box Gaming as well, can they set up that compound? Can they set up the box fort?
That is the real question here at the moment. Already a 375 elimination meter-wise for Stalwart there. Really, really good stuff. Now, Stalwart's going to struggle, but they are quite far at the top of the leaderboard at the moment. I believe they're in 3rd place, just behind TJB at the moment. And yeah, there haven't been like massive standout games for them, but they're consistently there in 1st, 2nd place, 3rd place. They're just making it happen. And this is the consistency you want to see from a championship team. So 32 points just behind TJB and 33 at the moment, but they have to make it through the swampy marshes of Quarry.
Vivo keeps suffering heavily at the hands of back-to-back. We're doing a lot of work now. 2 players down and out for Vivo Key, the Brazilian representatives. Nades answering though, as Diego not having any of it. Polo goes down to the nade. A lot of damage was put in on that push as well. Jaye spotted. More nades being popped over now by Diego, suppressing these angles. Look at the low health bars for back-to-back. Diego crawls on forwards, and it is bombardment, nade after nade. Fire now burning away at the heels of back-to-back. Can they regroup here? That nade a little bit long, but it finds nearly getting the knock. Diego tears them apart, gets everything done, and back-to-back with 2. Take care of business.
Diego could not have made that look any easier. Dropped the smoke and then just through that sent the bullets whistling, including the grenades, and back-to-back have just had back-to-back bad games here in the PMWI. And USA just really want to step this up at the moment. We know that back-to-back can be good. They have stood tall in their region before.
Certainly look at a stand tall, and if you want to be competing with the best of them, you need to complete those daily missions, I'll tell you that, to earn points. Once enough points are accumulated, you can tap on the rewards icon to claim the corresponding reward.
You can participate in that event solo, or you can team up with other players. That's absolutely fine. You get some more rewards if you team up anyway. You've got extra chances there. And for 2022 PMWI Gunskin and Outfit, there is a sale period on currently from the 4th of August through to the 13th, and that is 50% off PMWI packs, and you get a set straight away and 5 chances to draw PMWI treasure chests.
And after that, you do miss that window, the 14th of August until the 15th of September, 16% off PMWI packs, and you get 6 chances to draw PMWI treasure chests. We're back into the game though. There's Stalwart coming up against Team Seoul, who did, as I say, have their backs to the quarry. And are going to be looking to try and hold them off for the time being. A lot of damage sent. 1 res found. Omega spotted in the sideline. Stalwart still have all 4 there. Still have them all available. Omega stands up and gets rebuffed immediately. Hector eliminated, swept aside. Can Stalwart stay alive? They will have to try and survive just that little bit longer.
Unbelievable stuff. Great stuff coming through from them. And you can celebrate too with the regions and your team region as well. So the top 3 teams for a region will have the chance to win a prize, and it's a maximum of 1 award per user. And that's through from the 4th of August through to the 13th of August this month.
And if you're watching as well, you're contributing to the potential peak concurrent watch viewers of this stream. If we reach 100 million live watching, then everyone could get items in the 2022 PMWI Lucky Crate with a maximum of 1 award per user.
Please visit the in-game 2022 PMWI Watch Together event every day from the 11th of August for more information.
You can find that all out there. Box holding on the north side. against Stalwart, who are still recovering from that fight and may not be able to do so. However, they might have done the work they needed to. Consistency, as we said, always about Stalwart is the name of the game. Keep those points nice and high, keep them tumbling over. A lot of eliminations coming through. Vampire finally taken down a peg. TJB with one player left coming off the back of the chicken dinner. Not ideal, but it's Box Gaming and Morph with all 4 players alive.
Stalwart still going strong with 2 though, which is very, very good, but this is a very good opportunity for Box Gaming. Saudi Arabia's Sea Falcons, they only have 2 players. 1 player is down. There's potential to get them back up again, but they have been in the circle a long, long time. Look at this though, John. Enigma Galaxy out, 0 points.
Not good. Far from ideal. Taking a look around for healers out in the zone. At the moment, I see, as you say, Damwon Kia, right? Fabian healing, northeastern side. Maybe trying to just stay alive for as long as possible, and it might work. 8 teams remain, and so many of those have 2 or 1 player remaining. I think it's 6 of those teams. 4 of those teams have 1 player, 2 of those teams have 2.
Honestly, not all these teams have got many points. I think that, Vivo Keyed have got 8 eliminations so far, but realistically, we can say that's just from Diego's unbelievable performance. The masterclass he set upon us with the smoke play. Incredible stuff. Action, though, still on the ground. Looking for Box here. Does stand up. Doesn't quite take him down, but will look for more.
Gets the knock on the sidelines around the tree trunk. Action still in the fight, still alive, but for how much longer? Finally spotted, finally handled by Bensu around the edge, but there's backup. Potentially slowing down things for Box Gaming, and Pika's going to have to heal. 13 first aids, down to 12 now. That looks like they're going to heal out in the zone for Stalwart.
He's going out here.
No stims.
Big struggle for him. Like you say, no stims is very difficult. Jaye moves up for Morph, and they have been having a bad time. Coming into this game with 0 points, right at the bottom of the leaderboard. Morph GGG, though, looking to make something happen. They have 4 players alive, and that really does spell a victory here on Sandhawk, especially when the rest of the teams are down 3, 2, 1, 1.
Look at that. You can see the stims that currently on board for the last player from Stalwart are going to be there, so a little bit of time there. Damar also looking to heal out, but this is the last first aid kit for Team Falcons. It looks like a 5th place finish, unless someone goes down first, unless someone gets spotted. Diego eliminated out there. Still 1 player left for Vivo Key, but Box Gaming trying to roll down this hill against Morph. With 3 eliminations, they've been fairly quiet so far on that tally. But they're going to have to try and fight off against Box descending. Some nice angles. Bensu spotted, handled. Another knock on the backlines. Looks like this is going to be Morph all the way.
Oh
as they
my
spot
God.
yet another, and they are going to be able to take control of this zone. It's only the players out of sight that will be proving to be problematic in terms of finishing this game out. Cielo for Vivo Keyed and Pika for Stalwart Esports.
Morph will take those 6 eliminations and a chicken dinner any day of the week. Pika tries to jump into the blue, but won't quite make it in time as he falls. And Vivo
Hang on a minute.
will take
What
the
Hello?
hell?
Wait a minute. Oh, finally spotted. It looked a little bit
3
dangerous
down.
there. But 3 of them go down. In the end, the last player stands up, and Morph take control. They take the chicken dinner.
What just happened? I'm not, honestly, that just does not happen. I was not prepared for it. Well done, Vivo Key. That came out of nowhere for that team, but Morph will take 20 points, which should send them pretty far up the leaderboard from 18th place, but that was a win that they desperately needed. I think if any team wanted it, it was 18th place, and that'll put them in good stead for the future. The rest of the teams, though, is still Stalwart, putting up those consistent points throughout the entirety of this tournament so far. No flashy wins, but those can still come later on.
And good news for the teams trying to chase down the vampires, right?
Yeah.
They did not have the greatest performance in this game. They didn't have the sort of performance that we've come to expect from them in these first 2 games. I mean, sure, right? It's only 2 games that we've seen from them, but that first game was so spectacular. I'm sure everyone's still thinking about it. This one, not so much. Sandhawk, maybe not their strong suit.
No, not at all. I mean, I think that my biggest sadness was the fact that Enigma Galaxy goes out with 0 points. This was meant to be
Place number 2.
In place. Oh, I'm happy it was place number 2 and place number 3. Like both of them, I'm feeling really happy about that. But Viva Kid has been relatively consistent when it comes to securing those points. Same for Star Wars. But Morph, really the main thing, Kalash, to allow them to get this win is keeping the options open in the early game and making really good decisions based around the circle right and getting that position very early on.
Yeah, I like their split across Camp Charlie as well as the other 2 locations they have south of that and north of that to just act as anchor points for them to transition into the next stages. Obviously, they regrouped on Rocky that you kind of identified whilst that was going on. It's a great spot because it's just south of Cave. You don't have to worry about anybody south of you because there's water there. And west and east, you've got a nice high ground position to be able to scout from. So already you're giving yourself a great launching point into the next stages of this game when it can be kind of difficult to get scouting information on Sandhawk. So this gave them a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And also they were able, by doing so, having that position where Rocky was, right, to gatekeep teams that were trying to potentially cross that bridge. It didn't happen in that scenario, but if it did, they were prepared for it. So good stuff. Then I'm looking at the rankings. One team that I think this is the first time we see them on this first page here, or on the only page we look at, is actually 4 Rivals, right? they've been going out very early in both first games. So like we're actually seeing a little bit more step up from the Malaysian side. So good to see.
Well, I am looking through this list here, and I know, Claris, you brought this up in the last match. We are seeing, I believe it's Claris, maybe Maxman. I'm always seeming to be really bad with giving credit to people when they say good
Claris,
things.
you know?
If it's a good point, it's me.
Okay. Maxman, you pointed this out extremely well in the last game. There's a big divide here between like 4th and 5th place when it comes to points, right? We're seeing 13 down to 7. That's, almost half the points allotted right there. And we are starting to see this quite consistently that like the top 5, maybe top 6 teams are just getting a huge portion of the total points in a lobby.
Yeah, I think it's because if you get a really good position in these circles, you got like 2 extra teams technically that have a chance to come your way. So like a good position can be rewarded so much more in terms of eliminations alone. And in this case, you saw that with Vampire in particular. Like they had a good spot and they really made it work for them. So I think teams that can play around those spots like are going to be heavily rewarded.
Okay, let's take a look at our round report here really quickly and see who stood out across the board. And Diego, my man, 5 eliminations, most amount of damage, 2 grenade elims as well is fantastic to see. But we have seen, if I'm not mistaken, Stalwart now at least 2 matches in a row be the longest elim. Thinking back to that prize pool, Eagle Eye.
I mean, he is looking pretty good, Diego, right now. Like, normally Dora is looking for things like he finds you, Diego. Like, he will find you right away. So he's been roaming around the map and really...
Okay.
You get it? It took some time to get it.
Yeah, I was like, Dora. I don't remember there being a player named Dora.
As you were saying with Eagle Eye, longest elim for a top. The fact that he already, before this, had the longest elim at 395 meters and now has... another one on the bottom. I mean, it's Sandhawk, so it's not going to really compete with the Erangel or Miramar eliminations and stuff like that, but he's constantly showing that he's great at range, even on Sandhawk, a map that is renowned for the close quarters battles that you see ensue. Hence, we keep hearing DBSs everywhere. I'm so happy we keep hearing DBSs everywhere, by the way.
I remember from every PMPL. Every time we saw it come out. But to be fair for Vivo, and to talk about them here in particular about Keed, is that this is like their first LAN, first international event as well. And they do get themselves a 2nd place finish here on Sandhawk. And that has to be like a nice sigh of relief for them, for their fans as well. Take some pressure off of them so they can maybe now flourish further on into our later matches. Yeah,
I mean, when you look at all of the Western regions, I think you have 2 regions that really stand out a lot from like the rest. And that is going to be, you've got the Turkish side and also you have Brazil/Latam that are kind of like together in some way. And the thing that they lacked was that international experience, playing in international events like that. But I think that when you're looking at the team and how they play, they are willing to be aggressive. They're not willing to give away spots for free. I think that type of mentality, if it works right, can work on this stage. And I think that so far they have been rewarded to some extent. And intrigued to see if that can keep on going as the event goes on.
Taking a look at our Sony highlights here, we're starting things off with Omega for Team Seoul, and again, we haven't really been able to talk too much about them, and it's kind of unfortunate thinking back to PMGC where we had Godlike playing, and they only had 1 good match, which was the very last match of the entire event where they got a chicken dinner. But to be honest, it looked like Nova just kind of gave it to them, to be fair.
At least in this situation as well, though, going up against RSG, seeing Seoul getting a few eliminations here and there, it's nice against them. To look at the flip side of that battle, I just think RSG is having a bit of a harder time adapting to this lobby because they have the most extreme shift in playstyle and lobby size, etc. In format, that's the best way to describe it. coming into this tournament. Obviously in China, 15-team lobbies. You've got yourself extra elimination points early on, which can play nicely to their playstyle. Now it's very different here for them. Not a great start for them. They need to adapt faster than we're seeing them at the moment.
Especially when like PL is happening like right before this event and right after it's going to continue, right? So you don't. They need to adapt specifically for this event in such a narrow window of time, and then go back to their old playstyle. Like it is very complicated to deal with.
It's a big change.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a big change, but at least for them, right, thinking ahead towards maybe PMGC, this is their first little chance to dip their toes into the water of what global PUBG Mobile is about. And we're obviously going to find out when we get to PMGC if they do qualify, first of all. But to be honest, only Nova out of the Chinese teams out of PEL has been able to really impress us. I mean, we did see 4 Angry Men, to be fair, but they didn't really... Now, 4 Mini Men's a different team. 4 Angry Men.
4 Angry Men.
But they didn't really make it count where it mattered in the finals.
I think Nova does a good job of adapting over a long-form tournament in internationals. Every time we've seen kind of Nova... Well, the majority of times we've seen Nova on internationals, you get long-form, a few weeks here and there. Sometimes they have a bit of a harder time. Yeah, sometimes they have that little vacation, you know, doing what they can, but then later on they come out blasting information as possible. You can't do that here. It's not going to be possible. You're going to have to go back, just have 2 nights worth of review from day to day. That's not long. They need to be very quick to adapt.
And if I'm not mistaken, there wasn't a ton of scrims as well to like learn about what your opponents can do here going into this event. But you know what? We haven't been able to take a look at this all day, but luckily we're going to have the chance now. Let's actually dive into our overall standing to see where all of our teams currently do sit. Vampire, I'm expecting to be first place, but not by much.
Yeah, I mean, that gap is closing, and mainly because you're looking at Stalwart. They've been, like, around top 3 every single game, consistently up there. Still not able to convert that chicken dinner. I think it's bound to happen eventually.
So are they going to end in 7th then?
Hopefully not. I don't want to jinx on the 7th position again, but Stalwart are still clearly in race, and they're heating up to the lobby here.
It's a huge reason why we have been looking at this team as one of the big favorites to win it, right? 30 placement points over 3 games where they've not been able to get themselves a chicken dinner is extremely, extremely impressive here already. And we know that they have the fragging capabilities to be able to push in those eliminations as well. Yes, Vampire started off with a big one, but now they just got 1 point off the back of this after losing out an early fight against a previous chicken dinner winner. So, yeah, my eyes are still on Stalwart. And actually, all things considered as well, with no actual chicken dinner yet, Box Gaming, I feel like as the tournament's going to go on, if they can hold down some positions, I think they'll be able to convert some big points too.
Well, I mean, that's the hope, right, coming in from is that they don't have a lot of elims, and that kind of worries me. I know we talk a lot about that sweet marriage of elims to placements,
Which is actually surprising when you think about it. The Stalwart are in second with like twice as many placement points than eliminations, knowing that this tournament with 18 teams per lobby would be a lot more elimination like focused, right? So it is impressive that they've been able to make it work out. Though heading on over to the second page, we see some teams that have been a little bit topsy-turvy here. And 4 Rivals were able to catch up a little bit. I mean, all of these teams, right, it's only 3 games. 1 good game, you're on the first page. Anyone can still make it.
Yeah, 10 elims for 4 Rivals. There's a slight outlier here compared to the rest in some of this page as it does stand. But again, I think you've still... In PUBG Mobile, you've got to be hyper-aware of both scenarios. You need those placement points. You need those elims. And some teams ain't getting much.
Like Nigma?
You got 52 esports coming from Pakistan. They didn't get a single chicken dinner, actually, to get here today.
We've seen Nigma Galaxy, though, have rough times in the past and then bounce back. So, again, not too worried just yet, but again, short form tournament, sometimes it's very different to the long form.
Exactly, like in a PMPL, like you have one bad day, it's like, oh, it's fine, you got 18 show days in total. Like, look in here, that's 1/3 of your potential points, like down the drain instantly. You can't afford to have this day continue. We need to see Nigma Galaxy, like, I would say, bounce back right now.
Yeah.
What about a virtual gaming squad? I mean, we don't really know what to expect out of them. And of course, the region for Africa, but we got to see a couple of glimpses, but they haven't been able to, like, strand that together into a good run yet.
So I had the chance to talk to Alpha Luigi, actually, and the way they're taking this tournament is a big learning curve. Like, they want to learn as much as they can, and they're just very excited to be here, which I can understand. I don't think their team just like, we're going for first place. Which, of course, I think that should be the mentality for every team, but they just want to take as much information, prepare for the next season.
Plus, if you want to talk game-specific, Erangel's the biggest portion of our battlegrounds that we go on here, and their first Erangel started off catastrophically. Now, if we get themselves a different playing path, maybe we can see them actually convert a few more points here or there and allow that playing path to even just give them the drop spot they want, because we've only had one Erangel so far.
Here's a quick question for you two, completely off topic. Max, are you good at basketball?
No, I'm actually absolutely horrible.
Chorus, are you good at basketball?
No, I'm about 3'12", so absolutely not.
That does explain A lot of things. I'm used to be good at basketball. We're going to find out how good are TJB at basketball, and we'll be back here in just a few moments. Okay, that's not fair. He had to chase the ball and lost time. I mean, you got to think ahead of time. You know, you might miss, but don't miss so badly that you have to run after the ball and replay.
They did us proud in one of the games where they won, but now they've just represented us terribly when it comes to the basketball. I can't believe it. But then again,
keep them in line, you know?
Are European teams that renowned for basketball? It's mostly the Americans that are pretty good at this, no?
Yes.
Come on, as an honorary American,
I mean,
tell us. I don't know.
I haven't been in America and lived in America in over 10 years.
You're
so.
tall. You're supposed to be good at basketball because you're. Is that how?
Those are the rules. Yeah.
Those are the rules.
If you're above like 6 foot, like you're supposed to be good.
Yeah.
I don't like these stereotypes. 6 foot's not that tall for basketball. Are you kidding me?
Tall.
Do you know the current like height of basketball players is like 6'7"?
Okay. You're taller than 6 foot.
Stop finding
no?
excuses.
I'm not 6'7". And at 6'7" is like a short.
That already kind of puts a little bit of a thorn in your side.
okay.
Let's be real.
If this is actually, I know you guys at home can't see this, but if this is actually staying true to what we're seeing, this also means that Vampire could have another.
There was quite a few teams in the pack going for the wide rotates. And I'm a big fan of that because it just allows you to look for those better entry points compared to smashing your head into a wall and not making anything happen with it.
It's cool to see that all the teams are willing to put extra thought behind like their rotation and really trying to find the best entry point. Go show the homework has been done and they are willing to like aim for the better position in every circle. So we'll see, but if that circle is real, which it seems like right now it is, like, sorry.
自分たちのチームの特徴としては、チーム内日本の中もやっぱりファイト力だったりがやっぱり
at the gym, because clearly I look like I go to the gym. I listen to him nonstop. So Max, your favorite donut?
I'm going to be very boring and say
He's just
like
say a croissant.
Can you qualify as I mean, it's a
no,
weirdly
it's not a donut.
It's a failed donut. Okay, kind of in the shape. I love a baguette. Okay, it's pretty good. just stretch it.
That's
like,
weird.
you got it.
I'll have a BLT. That's my favorite donut. So what is it? Wrinkles?
Really, yeah, just like sprinkle donut with just like sugar on top of it. It's just
okay.
Like,
What kind of sugar are we
That's your
talking about?
favorite donut.
Yes, I'm a simple man.
To be
with,
fair,
like, simple tastes.
In Europe, you don't really have like a great assortment of donuts. My personal favorite is actually the plain donut because it's like slightly sweet.
You just said the same as him.
Like the sugar.
My favorite one is the one with icing or frosting, you know, it's just a simple one. I'm like Jason, I like it just with all the regions, all the countries clashing. It's a spanner in the works for me. It is so hard, especially with the amount of pressure that comes out. We saw some of the potential hot drops. And as the desk was talking about, you know, the rotations that we're seeing, the hard plane paths. And that is what I'm really interested in seeing once we get live here.
Have at least a win.
Yeah, I mean, if they can continue this consistency, it'd be crazy. Also, because obviously with two more teams available, there are those 8 points extra per game wins out of this tournament here, and that's what I'm really excited for.
I have one for you while we're waiting for the game to 30 Ilums in one
That
match?
would be insane. That would be absolutely insane. Of how everything is going out, it has to be from day one that they can go back, look on, and see, all right, how do we improve for day number 2?
Yeah, I feel like that first game was just a perfect storm for that performance of Vampire.
Yeah, it was. And also how everything ended up being, how the rotation across water and get against all these obstacles here, and they're just able to do so. But east over Military Island.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the desk is going to be happy seeing this gamepad. This is
See, Pro, are we going to have this circle? No, it's not going to be fine. We have a little bit of a chance here, 7. A little 20-25% chance that it could go south and be
actually because and something to point out, they have Cinetexa. They have a player from Brazil that has been added for this tournament. So I think it's time that we actually start seeing a good performance out of Atani Esports here on a global event.
Yeah, I would really love to, though. Let's see what they can do. They get another one down. Pain goes down. That's a lot of pain for him straight there. Here fighting in the God compound, just west.
Right now, Fran has to push that. Daku's going to just back off a little bit. They're going to be looking to thing going for them, right? They
100%.
have one of the 52 esports players just pretty much against the wall.
Yeah.
What's going to happen here and how they're going to be able to approach this? You can see them talking about a great start. This is what I want to see out of Atana. I mean, they ended up with 5 Ilums in the first match, 3, and then in the past match, they only had 1 Ilum. 4 right off the bat. This is what you want to see.
All right, also here, Virtual Gaming Squad. Maybe have some information that there might be one of the players here from Vampire Esports. I don't think so, though. They're not really looking for him to just go away. The Glass House compound here is a really good one, but they have to rotate further, obviously, when the circle is further east.
Yeah, Vampire just playing it patient. Say, you know what? We're just going to be waiting and see what happens. Let's let them do their thing, and that's exactly what's going on. And, I mean, if you don't have to get into a fight this early on, just don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. But it feels like they have an idea, right? Because, obviously, he could be... he could have dropped close to it and then obviously been looting, but no, they are not going to find him. He's going to be fine here. Fluke.
The circle is going to start closing in, though. I want to see what 4 Rivals is going to be doing. I mean, they're currently towards the north in Bernie. With Vampire Esports, I think he's just going to continue to stay down. He's going to be super, super patient.
All right, let's see what the situation is going to be with the rotations. It is a pretty good circle. I want to see either a really rough one play, especially on Miramar. That's very, very edge-heavy. And obviously because also how this circle ended up being. Morph in Yasnaya.
And, I mean, for the last game, Morph, what a performance, right? And we're talking about them. We're saying how that was a team that went from 0 points to hero points, being able to collect those 20. I think it was 22 points for them. That's what you want to see out of the Indonesian teams. I'm pretty sure a lot of people right now on YouTube are going to be doing Indo Pride. And next week, I mean, on the after-party event, they're going to be also having Bigatron. So if more can actually make it there, I want to see that. I want to see those giants just battle each other.
Virtual Gaming Squad also fighting right now. Let's see how that's going to turn out as well. If it's just going to be one. Seoul did lose 1 player, Omega. And now the other guys from Team Seoul are leaving.
There's a lot of teams right now trying to scout, trying to figure out where they're going to be going. You can see Star Wars Esports finally starting to move a little bit. I think they're going to make sure that their bridge is going to be clear and they're going to be able to make a move for it. Right now, the amount of loot they're going to be able to get is going to be amazing, and I think this is great for them. Nobody bothers them at the start, right? And it looks like they're just going to have a clear path. If for some reason it does go to the main island, they're going to have a clear path, and I feel like this is why they're currently being able to be consistent. And I mean, Star Wars Esports, this was a team that, by a lot of people, they think that they are going to be the winners of this event. So I'm interested to see if that consistency, even though they don't have a chicken dinner yet, if that consistency is going to continue.
That is like 3 games back to back to back third. That is very impressive considering the format, how the teams are playing, the difference in teams. You're not playing a bit against your usual regional teams. You're not playing against teams that you usually know. So that's pretty impressive. And I think, especially the guys on the desk, they talk so much about Stalwart and how their expectations is high. Let's hope that Max is not here to curse them, but rather bless them together with Kylaris.
And one of the teams we were talking about earlier, Nigma, Galaxy. I mean, right now, middle of Pachinki, with this circle, you're in a way you're kind of blessed. Just take your time, see what's going to happen. More than likely, nobody's really going to be trying to push you. But you can see, you were talking about Potato Hill. Guess what? There's a lot of teams going there right now.
There is. It's a lot of good information to be taken from the high ground there, but also you can't be. Some teams can be sneaking up, and right now, Seoul, they are pulling up here by the shacks, and Damwon Kia is lurking in the back, and they're already throwing some of the utility that way here. Fabian here on the high ground.
I think they were just scouting. Those two players on the card were trying to figure out, you know what, are we going to be able to use that advantage with Goblin being able to just kind of keep them focused there? It didn't happen. They decided to go back. Yeah, and with TJB, I mean, you see TJB now starting to move down to the south. They're like, okay, you know what? We had plenty of time to loot up. Let's actually move along. And something that I enjoyed there from Stalwart Esports, they were just waiting patiently. They made sure that they sent only one player across that bridge to make sure nobody was waiting for them. And they were like, okay, it's clear. You know what? Just come our way. More than likely, it's not going to go to military base, even though, never mind.
You summoned it.
I'll take it. I was saying I wanted to bring out my toxic trait of it being in the middle. I mean, it's looking promising right now.
Yeah, it's also hard because the amount of water that is in play right now is making the vast majority of the center of the circle not playable unless you want to be in the water. But we're going to see a lot of teams come to this southern hill of the Pachinki. There's a big dip. There's some good trees to be played, but mainly two compounds. The pack compound and the double barn compound are going to be the main ones that are going to be fought for, and obviously some of the compounds west of farm. Let's see how some of the teams are deciding to do here.
One of the teams I'm currently looking at is Vampire Esports. I mean, they're just taking a way too long with time right there for me. What I would like to see, and you can see back-to-back, Killswitch, one of the main players, actually getting eliminated. Oh man, that's going to hurt them big time. And this is, I got to bring up my NA trait now. I was hoping back-to-back would have good performances here. So far, after 3 matches, they had 7 points, and not what you expect to see out of that team.
Oh, that's unfortunate for them. Hopefully they're able to step it up and especially learn towards. Now that you're casting them, maybe they're stepping up. No, Erangel still taking some shots towards Stalwart. Pika goes out. He's going to be going down as well. That's 1 elimination saved for Erangel again. Good performance for them. 2.
And then you have Jaye just passing by. Oh, no. J7, please keep going.
Go away. No. That is so unfortunate. And a strong defense here for Erangel. Really good performance with them so far. They're sitting in a decent compound if it goes north-northeast, but they are not the most centered team right now. But they're going to be fine. They got some of the elimination points they wanted, and now they're able to secure this. Morph have heard that in the distance.
And the good thing there with Reagan's Gaming is, I mean, they were able to take full advantage of that. A lot of those teams weren't really expecting them to be there, and guess what? You end up being able to get 4 Illims. That's not bad. At this point, that's not bad. You didn't lose a single player. You didn't have to heal. You didn't have to lose any utility. That's maybe one of the best stuff that you can expect out of a team.
Such a good start for them here, considering still have 17 teams remaining, 63 total players. And the Wildcats, they are guarding the bridge. And this could be really interesting because if we see a sudden shift, worst case scenario, or for your toxic trade, what you hope for, then it's going to be a huge game for them. They could either get past fast, or they could be gatekeeping everyone that's going to be trying to go across on the western bridge.
And as we're seeing all of that, I'm also looking now back-to-back Polo. He's staying right there, very, very close to the water to see if he was going to maybe have to rotate to the military base because he's by himself now. That's going to be a very hard rotation, so it's interesting to see that. And then TJB, we saw that north to south rotation. Right now, they're not really having to worry about much. As I say that, Lin gets knocked.
Oh.
I'm just caster cursing this.
Yeah, it's just basically live caster cursing them, or it could be some of the other amazing casters that we have here in the arena. Obviously, so many languages is covering these amazing games, and we're gonna be seeing the next circle pop just shortly.
Please,
and then
madness.
You're hoping for chaos.
Yes.
For anarchy. and that would be the southern. For the majority of the teams, because it is kind of center in the northern side, so the vast majority of the teams, they are already in a damn good spot. Seoul, one of them, 4 rivals, also sitting pretty good. And as we're talking about Enigma Galaxy, they need to have a good game now. They need to have this ball starting to roll for them, otherwise they're going to have a really rough day one, and it's going to be hard to catch up.
Yeah, with Enigma Galaxy, I mean, we're talking earlier about how they were in Pachinki, how they had everything going for them. And right now, I'm not able to even spot them. They're nowhere near to be found there. 4 rivals has actually taken over Pachinki, which is a great, great spot. And look at them. They're going to be able to catch people. If they're rotating, they're going to be able to cause some damage and at least back them up.
Let's see what Donuts is going to be able to get out of this one here. They're also sitting pretty in this situation. Obviously on the northern side of it, but still, they are holding on to quite a lot of real estate in this situation.
And if we do end up getting, for some reason, the circle just to end up a little bit towards the east-north, right, of Pachinki, where we have all those fields, I hope all these teams are just currently saving those utilities.
What I love the most about Donuts' position right there is that they're able to become the last team to leave the barns and then run up onto the hill and then basically clear the whole Pachinki east side hill. But Vampire is on the move. Let's see what they're able to do. They have Vivo Keat Stars in the distance. Let's see what the Brazilian guys are able to do. Obviously had the pressure of covering the PMWI Brazil, so I know what these guys are capable of, and they are huge fraggers.
Would you say Vivo Keat is your favorite team to win this?
Not favorite team to win it, but I definitely root a little bit for them because I know these guys are really, really good. But Adrian's going to be taken down, and I
see it here live, ladies and gentlemen. It is happening. Vivo Keat, after they watch that, they're just going to be absolutely hating us. But for Vampire Esports, they took their time. They waited to make sure they were going to get a clear shot. They actually had 3 players aiming down, and they were able to make sure they got that knock and finish that inland, which is it's something you want to see because if we go back, Vampire Esports on the first Erangel, they were stealing a lot of elims.
Yeah, they were. They had only a few knockdowns, but secured a lot of eliminations and a lot of points through the steals there. Cielo is going to be moving towards Ravenclaw, and they're going to be having a rotation through the fields, try to maybe sneak in, get in under the skin of them, and maybe take a fight to them. Let's see what happens. He's just getting hit from every single side, and Ravenclaw is going to be able to take down Cielo and confirm the elimination here.
Yeah, that's just unlucky for Cielo. You can see the tire got popped, and then all of a sudden he just didn't know what to do. He tried to just switch C's. Maybe he could just snap on somebody. It was not going to happen. Vampire Esports right now is looking good. It might not be the 24 elims, right? But something might be happening for them.
Yeah, and the next circle here did shift slightly north, but still it maintained the vast majority of the land in play right now. So we're going to see a lot of teams fight for this next terrain coming up forward. TJB most likely going to be able to get the revive off here. Kist, a good situation. We see VGS as well. Virtual Gaming Squad fighting the Wildcats. Let's see what they're able to do right now. Ooh, utility being used.
Playing it slow. He's going to be able to be found. He is getting knocked. Where's his other teams trying to get the flank? And they're going to be able to. Can they knock him? He's still staying alive somehow. Avenger.
That is wild. Virtual Gaming Squad with a lot of pressure from the side as well. Boron, half HP, one more. No, he gets countered. Oh my god. That is insane. Super well played by the Wildcats here. We can hear our Turkish colleagues going absolutely crazy next to us. And one shot is down to a 1 versus 1 right now with Boron. Let's see who's going to be able to take it home for them.
Wildcats. I mean, Boron, with that kind of angle, that saved their team. You could see what Virtual Gaming Squad was doing. They were trying to get different angles. They were trying to rotate around them. But Boron said, you know what? I can actually see you. Doesn't matter what you're trying to do. It's not going to work. And he ended up working out wonders for them. Hopefully, he can pick up his squad right now and secure those elimination points.
Oh, he's actually going to go off. The blue
nope.
zone is pushing them. Nope. Boron's going to try to maybe secure the points. The zone is coming in. Garavi taking some shots, but no. And this means Wildcat's going to lose a few players. Boron is going to try to get into a situation where he can play as a solo, but it's going to be hard. A lot of the terrain ahead of him here, 7 is taken already.
And with Virtual Gaming Squad, I mean, they do decide to wait and actually revive those players. I wonder if that's going to hurt them long term. We'll see what happens with them. And we do have Team Falcons here going up against Morph. The winners of the last game. Can Morph continue on this trend? Team Falcons, I mean, a surprising start out of that team too. They ended up in 2nd place in Miramar. Was not expecting that, but I love to see it.
Yeah, back-to-back out in 17th. And of course, the Wildcats out in 16 and now Stalwart out in 15th place. And we came in and we say, all right, it's so impressive to see them back to back third place. But now they are going to have their bad game of the day. Maybe we'll see the next few games they're going to be having a combat. Let's see what Falcon is going to be able to do in this situation here. 7. They're putting a lot of pressure onto Damwon Kia.
Yeah, and with Damwon Kia, I'm intrigued. I mean, you also have Box Gaming that's currently of the horizon. I wonder if they're going to be able to push up on that. Falcon, it is currently spread out a good bit. It will be interesting to see if they are going to be willing to take this fight onto Damwon Kia with Falcon Yusuf just, 47 bullets in the Dream. I'm pretty sure he might be able to catch somebody off rotating. They just have to be careful, make sure that nobody sneaks up on them. And here we go, getting some shots, putting out his position. And is he going to be able to secure? Oh, he's not. And then we have TJB Esports EU getting eliminated as well. What's going on?
It's a wild game already. Damwon Kia putting some pressure on it. Now also...
He ended up backfiring. Remember I was telling you if it was going to backfire for Virtual Gaming Squad?
It did.
It did.
Yeah, it took too long time. They have to finish their fights fast. And now Falcon putting on some pressure onto Damwon Kia. Forest goes down. Let's see what Damar is going to be able to do here with the DP28. Only a level 1 helmet. So it takes much more damage and durability on it, though. Falcon under pressure from multiple sides. New circle has popped, and as gone northeast. When we were talking about it, Donut, they were potentially going to be able to have a massive game from this, and they have the center compound 7.
They do, and I'm intrigued to see what Team Soul's going to do right now. They're currently sitting in the middle of that field, or kind of close towards the mountain. I want to see if they're going to have to rotate or how they're going to set themselves up. If they have any vehicles also for cover, because I know in those areas, you don't have any vehicles, and this is what happens to Stalwart Esports. Oh, man, we wanted to see that consistency. Wow. It didn't end up happening.
Yeah, that's crazy. Regans are able to sweep and take control of the southern side of the circle, and they're continue to do so. Now Falcon's putting some pressure on to Damwon Kia. Takes down Song. Amazing.
Damar, that's what you want to see at a Team Falcon.
So
Don't
impressive.
Be scared. Take those.
So impressive. Now Box also trying to get in, and the eastern side is going to get more and more occupied with both Falcon and Box. As you see here on screen, powerful. Putting more pressure onto Box, trying to push them away from their edge, making sure that they have the control.
That Box Gaming pushing up to the rock just in time. I mean, Yusuf right now, he wants some elims. He wants those points.
Falcon still in this situation, putting on pressure for this.
Yusuf, I mean, Team Falcon, they went from probably ended up getting some great amount of. They go for it. This is what you want to see at a Team Falcon. I mean. Yusuf being able to get those knocks, can they confirm that Ilum? That's going to be the big question mark. You can see them trying to rotate. Box Gaming now is starting to get pushed from behind by RSG. I'm not sure, Avenger here, who is going to come out on top. I mean, Box Gaming, I'm actually surprised that they're still alive.
Yeah, they are under so much pressure from Falcon right now, and they continue to survive. And Reckon's also continuing into that. And it's kind of helping that they're in this dip here, because now that means that Reckons is also putting pressure onto Falcons. They want all of it. Reckons really taking control on the eastern side from the south.
And guess what? It's helping out Team Falcon right now, because they're going to have to, at some point, they're going to, and there's so much more stuff going on right now with other teams that if you can somehow roll. Wow, those shots, I mean, as I'm saying that, Team Falcon just keeps proving me wrong. They're able to get those shots, they're able to get those ilms, and it's currently working for them.
Yeah, all right, let's.
I mean, it worked out wonders for them, right? Aggressive when they needed to be. They saw some knocks, they went for it. But this is, I feel like this is.
They're moving across the field. Shots are coming onto them. That's a knock as well. Super well played by Schweppes.
Enigma Galaxy, please start throwing them. You know exactly where he's going to be at. You know he can't move out of there. Vampire Esports is a team that you don't want lingering behind you, because they're just going to come and strike. And this is what I'm talking about. Let those grenades roll, and the shots too.
Super well played by Freak and Enigma Galaxy. This rotation, this is a macro call to get into the bunker. They saw potentially open. All they did a blind rotate.
Strong team, as you can see right now. Even though they might be pinned, Vampire Esports players are trying to get those ilms so they can move forward.
Rolf has was there. Oh, nice! This is crazy good utility usage here for 4 rivals. Let's see if they're able to close some of it out. A lot of damage is being put out. Another one is found. Oh, it's actually finished off. Vampire Esports. They're putting on pressure from the north side. Falcon still alive on the east.
Now it's time that we put that pressure on them. And Donuts, USG, picking some people off from here.
Oh, that's a headshot straight to the level 3 helmet. Multiple sides are coming. Placement for them with the amount of points they're going to be able to get out of this one.
Yeah, I would say that was actually a great game for them, with considering how many fights they got on.
And
how
also
many
the terrain they came from.
Yes, and they. They did have to end up rotating a little bit left. I mean, a little bit late here on this final circle, which kind of hindered them. But for them to be able to get at least those 10 points is going to be wonders. And then we have Donuts. I think this might actually work. Got wonders for Donuts. I think that might be my favorite.
Oh,
but Vampire.
Bar Rivals as well coming in. Stone taking down Amodia. That's actually Livik Galaxy out. They were in the middle. They got sandwiched completely in this situation. And this is such a good thing for Donuts now. Missile gone down. Oh, no. Rivals gone out too. We're just down to Donuts and
Vampires, though. I mean, Vampire Esports, I am so impressed with the way they have been able to work out this final circle, the way they were able to put some extra pressure on Livik Galaxy, even when they had some of their players down. This is great stuff, and if they can get another chicken dinner on Erangel, oh man, that's going to secure a big spot for them at the top.
all right, they're trading revives in this situation. Want to get everyone up top again. And the question is, how is it going to end up? Looking violently out. The circle actually went away from both teams here in 7 this situation. Donuts has to come in from the northern side, try to use some of the utilities, use some of the smokes to try to get in. Vampire has a little bit more of the terrain, but Naoto has some cover. Let's see how much they have to work with. There's also a crate inside the circle, so that could be worked as hard cover instead of the soft cover that smokes provide.
It will be, and even though they are throwing up those smokes, right, they're sending up the smoke line. I do like Naoto is currently going to have a little bit of a higher ground advantage over some of these players, so he might be able to spot something if he just jumps and sees them rotating. As we say that, Ravenclaw being able to get the knock. I mean, if you're going to push, this is the time, and he is going to do that. He's going to try to just get cover behind that crate that you were mentioning, and now it comes down to who is snaking on their path and who's going to be able to get the next knock. Vampire, though, so aggressive. Look at them. They're not wasting any time. They know they currently have the advantage in regards to one of the players was knocked, but then it backfires. One of the Molotovs from Naoto, one of the players I was telling you, being able to get the angle. What's going on here, Vampire? You guys had it going for you.
Yeah, the opening knock was important, but they're putting a lot of pressure onto them and just making sure they stay back there. Oh, it's going to be good for Donuts. They're going to go in and they're going to get it. It's a game for Donuts USG. What a great one. But Vampire able to get another great game here on Erangel 7.
Yeah. They didn't get the win, but that sends a statement to me. That sends a statement in regards to being able to keep their composure. And for Donuts, too, they did get the chicken dinner, and the composure that they were able to hold off there at the end. I think Naoto being able to get that top angle, being able to have the height advantage, I felt like that was a big-time play for that player.
Yeah, and Donuts being able to get out of the compound. They're playing like they are planning to. They want to stay 4 guys alive. They want to get into the circle slowly and obviously close it out. And you can see here, that 4-player advantage versus being only versus 3 players, that's huge. That is what won them the game. Vampire had the upper hand, but Donuts is able to close it out.
And one of the teams that is going to be saying what could have been is going to be Livik Galaxy.
Yeah.
They had the perfect spot, and then everybody just ended up crashing onto them, and it was just too much for them to handle. They took too long, I feel like, the fight with Vampire Esports. They should have been able to hurry that up a little bit more. If they had more utilities, I think that was the time to use it. They didn't, or maybe they just ended up running out, and Vampire Esports was able to take full advantage of when the other team started third party.
I love what I'm seeing from them compared to what we've seen from the first 3 games,
Yeah.
though. Them being able to put themselves into a central location in the circle.
الأقوى راب مصري اسمع ملوك الصين ببلاش.
Well, Donuts USG take home the victory, but what impresses us the most is Vampire, the team that we had questions about after the first match of, was that just a one-off and done, or is this Thailand here to play in? Well, we got our answer here in match, or well, the second Erangel, I should say. I'm just Kaplan, still your host. Haven't been kicked off just yet. Maybe we'll switch things around. Maybe Maxman here, who to my left might be hosting here at some point.
Nah, I don't. I politely refuse, Jason. I am not interested in your role.
Very nice of you.
Yeah.
He doesn't get a choice. It doesn't matter. I don't care if he's refusing. I get to choose if he's going to host.
You were staring me
and
down.
I refuse to let him host. And then we have, of course, Kalaris on the end as well. But gentlemen, as you take a look at the match standings by STC, that was a ridiculous game yet again out of Vampire.
I mean, Vampire, the thing is, right, they get himself, sure, that first good game, a little bit of, invisibility. They're coming back up really strong once again. And their rotation, especially, like, we talked about their rotation around the northern side of that hill where Team Seoul stayed for the longest time. Like, the timing on that was key for them to get in those trenches. And then the way they just spread out against Donuts, I did not expect that to happen, but it was just spectacular.
You're talking about Pachinki South Road, right? Between the two kind of mountains, not above them, we're preoccupied with other teams that were on the hills as well. So have a little cheeky sneak on through there, get in those fields, use some smokes to move up to the dips that are all important. We'll talk about those dips in a moment because I thought that guaranteed the teams were there were going to be able to take the victory and eventually
10 with there. We saw RSG have finally some sort of resurgence out of the team that we have yet to see, able to put up some good numbers with 9 eliminations. We saw Enigma Galaxy as well finally show up here in this match. I feel like this really opened our eyes to like what potential, or maybe opening the eyes to the audience of what we've been saying about some of these teams and the potential they have here in this event.
I mean, that's what's going to happen when you have a second iteration.
Approaching the game right now. That's just me kind of watching how they're moving around,
VGS, right?
VGS, yes. And I think that with their very peer drop, it's a decent spot, but I had to question how much potential loot they had because there was kind of that chase around against Vampires going on for a little bit longer than should have been happening, and then they had to transition north early as well to get themselves a bit more of a center spot. So I'd have loved to have seen their exact loot in those moments, but, we can't look
about it. When they went for like those dip positions, the shed too, right, it was a good play. Like they had multiple options. You can stay in the hilltop. I did think that Enigma Galaxy should not have been allowed to get to that point, to that position that easily. It should have been punished severely.
And it's something that's astutely pointed out, the fact that they were able to take that away from them. As soon as I see this circle fall on these fields, there's 2 dips. 5. Seoul had one of them, and Donuts USG had the other. When I see this kind of circle, I think one of those teams, because they should have been able to put up more of a fight, I feel.
Yeah, and you can see that by the damage here right now, comparing it to Enigma Galaxy. Team Seoul, 367 damage, definitely not as much damage you would expect.
And things like that. And when it came to the very ending moments of Donuts USG actually winning that out, I was a little bit concerned from them because I don't think they had much.
Vampire, like, no nades are coming. We're just going to spread. You have those angles, and you're looking at Ravenclaw in particular. That could have been a complete 180, and it could have been Ravenclaw's win for the team.
And I'm sorry, Jason. I really love talking about these dips. The thing is as well is when you're Donuts USG, when you're looking down. No. When you're them and you're using utility in the late game, but not the late game, and actually displacing one of the teams, and you've used all your grenades and your mollies to try and get rid of them, you can't then crest the dip and go over to actually go and get your opponent's utility, because if you do that, you're going to be shot at by other teams. So you have grenades and mollies to displace the opposite team on the other side, because you're not going to have any more to work with. You can't go and loot those loot boxes.
So I have a question for you, Kalaris. When are you going to get into coaching?
I like talking too much, and I would probably talk their ears off, and they'd be like, "Can you get out of the room, please?"
Yeah, but then you could do the media days.
I don't want to do the media days. What are you talking about?
Hey, you play basketball.
He can do the media days. I'm rubbish at basketball. I told you I'm like 3 foot tall.
Yeah, but that's why you got a little loop.
That's why.
No way.
Hey,
stop talking to me.
We found one hoop that you can dunk on, okay? Let's take a look at the round report, though, from our 4th match of the day. Remember, we still have 2 yet to come, though, and see, again, who was our top damage dealer was. It's just going to be, Mike.
Mike Wazowski. I don't know. I don't know why I went with that.
That is definitely the PG version. I thought of something different.
No, not at all. No, but you know what? I'm impressed. Like, this is not a team that I had on my radar when it comes to the PMWI, and really the first game already, as you said earlier in the green room, right, Kalaris, this potentially was the biggest opening game we have seen in PUBG Mobile in like maybe forever. We'll have to check that, and they can keep the momentum a little bit to some extent, getting themselves almost a second chicken dinner in 4 games alone. That is, like, so far almost never seen in, like, this level of play. And if they can keep it up, like, it's going to be really hard to close that gap, even for teams like Star Wars or Falcon.
The name Stoned E with an I at the end of it. But the thing is that, yeah, the performance that they're actually putting up in these games is a little bit unheard of, actually, in a first day in an international tournament quite like this. I did not expect them to come in blasting like they are, but they're really controlling their areas very well. They're transitioning very well, playing as a cohort very well. I'm excited to see them play out more games. I really am.
I mean, you think about Corpai, right?
Yeah,
exactly. You think back to Power AAA KPS, we ended up seeing that team like qualify on the final day quite consistently when it came to PMGC, but we know how strong Thailand can be. And I just wanted to show actually our top damagers when it came to this match. And I want to point out one team in particular yet again, besides Vampire, which we talked about a ton, besides RSG, Falcon again. Yeah. Falcons are playing so well, and I can actually hear from our grid room the audience just cheering and shouting whenever they're getting more and more eliminations. They are really putting themselves on the map here.
We were talking about this so much with Kalaris in the green room. Like, their edge play on the East is so good. Like, any team would get remotely close, you're dead. You're done. There's no way you're going to be escaping that situation. So Falcons, if there's a fight coming their way, they capitalize on it. And the fights are, just like we saw from Vampire, they're really quick. Like, they're very snappy. In the mid-game, super quickly.
Yeah, between, I would say, Falcons and Stalwart in terms of edge play right now as they're approaching circles and holding other teams out, they're up there. They are very much so showing some great quality on those edge plays. And the thing is right now is that actually some of these circles are very edge heavy. Not a lot of people are wanting to go into the middle of these fields. If you don't have those 2 dips in the middle, where else do you go? The edge is the only place you can play. And if you're taking the eliminations there, it's very, very profitable.
Okay. Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, we are actually, you can see, about 2 minutes away until we are going to be getting underway with our next match of the day, which, of course, will be on Miramar. We're going to actually bring in our new commentators in just a second. And by new, I mean, oh, it's the same commentators before, but they're just so good. They're so new. We can once again mention really quickly a big shout out here to MasterCard and Razer here helping support this event, making sure PMWI and G8 do happen. And, of course, with Miramar to come up next, we got to see some consistency out of some teams when it came to Erangel #1 and Erangel #2. Now I'm hoping to see some consistency when it comes out of TJB on Miramar, considering we saw them take their victory as well. But once again, for you guys at home, all the things you can do to win some prizes, make sure you update your profile pictures, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, to the team that you're supporting, and make sure you guys are leaving comments on the official platforms to get a chance to win some sweet rewards.
Literally just having that conversation. But, man, what a match that we just had, and we saw Vampire Esports perform well back-to-back now in Erangels. And now going into this Miramar, right, I want to see, as Jason was saying, TJB, can you also perform well back-to-back on 2 maps?
Yeah, that'd be crazy to see. I would love to see it. Obviously, the consistency on maps usually follows. We saw all maps so far, but obviously we want to see, is this their home map or was this a one-time thing? Obviously, their circle was perfect. We saw the Olu compound that they're able to push out of, and also in general in the La Daria area, it's having the high ground is just so damn strong. And obviously getting started soon. I love this arena though, I gotta say, Seven. It is amazing. Also, our augmented reality team flying us in here on over. This is where the teams that have their macro on point, that's where they shine. They know how to get to the high ground positions, they know how to scout, they know how to get into these fantastic situations where they can get a lot of eliminations.
Okay, I respect that. I respect that. You already know me. You already know I like madness, so it wouldn't be a surprise to you that I'm going to say Sandhawk is my favorite match. But what I am going to be looking at here is what's going to happen in Picado. I mean, in the first Miramar that we got a chance to play, it was Team Seoul Team Soul was able to do in that previous match in Erangel. They were able to get a lot of the just major center stuff, but how they're going to start?
For sure. I want to see what this playing path gives us, though. We are La Carroya, and this opens up so many things. The vast majority of our teams here, they're going to be able to get into their usual drops or at least get a car and move in there. So let's see if we're going to see any hot drops, if we're going to see any contests, or potentially any gatekeeps. And obviously, the longest elimination here, that's where the change of the talk happens here. 375 meters and 373 meters. That is.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see that. I mean, with currently the way they're performing, as we're seeing the map right there, doesn't look to me like Team Soul wanted to go Picado again with box gaming. And that's a smart thing, okay? You want to be able to get all those points. For everybody currently watching at home, let's watch PMWI together. Complete daily missions to earn points. Once enough points are accumulated, tap on the rewards icon to claim the corresponding rewards.
Up with other players both is okay. Team up could get the reward more easy if you're able to win some of those games here. But let's take a look at this game here and how the circle is going to play out. I want to point out, though, Caro Arena, there's a boxing arena, and Box is obviously the best at boxing. So let's be completely obvious about that. It's a northeastern circle, 7, though, and that's a really interesting one because we have a these teams, they're going to make their way. And there's a lot of teams outside the circle on our western side, south and north. From the southwest side of the circle. Really clever. They're going to take their long rotations on the southeast side or on the northeast side and try to get in on the northeastern side of the circle here because
Miramar that we saw, a lot of these teams were playing that edge circle, and it was, I mean, it wasn't even close. Everybody was circle.
The car gets out. Morph could. The question is, how much utility do they have? That's the decider of this one here. Now we see nades coming in. It is coming, a good nade. They're never alone from Falcon Esports. Finds him. That's TJB out. Another good performance from them now. But it means we're down to Box and Team Falcons.
And this is going to benefit, if Box Gaming can get into the zone, is going to benefit him in a big way. You can see Team Falcon, though, is not slowing down. They're making the push. They didn't know that TJB player was there. They eliminated him. They were like, you know what? We need to take that spot, and we need to take it out and keep on moving forward. You can see the 52 esports player, though, being able to get the angle on both of the teams. Oh, that's going to be huge.
Vaz, I counted him out, basically. I didn't think he was going to survive that, but the players are not focused in on him. They thought they're one of the other teams potentially to take him out, so Falcons slightly forgot about him. And let's see how far he can take this one for 52. 8 eliminations for them. He finds a Box player, takes him down. Can he secure second place for 52?
52 esports currently just ruining the party for Box Gaming. We thought it was just going to be a Box Gaming versus Team Falcon versus. It's not going to happen. But guess what? Break from Box Gaming. He has to give out his position, just trying to back him up. And Team Falcons right now, they're setting themselves up perfectly. Team Falcons currently looking to take this win, ladies and gentlemen. They know where that player from 52 Esports is at. Can they take it? You see Yusef leading the charge. They know exactly where he's at. Here comes the grenades.
Finds one.
Oh, Vaz being able to actually back them up. Yusef right there. Can he get the knock? You're so close to it. You're full health, and he's not, ladies and gentlemen. Team Falcon being able to get the win for Saudi Arabia. Woo.
They're able to convert this one, step it up, and do an even better game on the second game of Miramar today. Here's 7. They got second place last time, 6 eliminations, and now they're able to take it home. Look at the crowd. They're going wild for their home turf heroes.
I'm about to go wild for them. I'm so happy this team is performing this way. We've been talking about Saudi Arabia for a long time, and guess what? Their team is currently showing up, and they don't just want to win this. They also want to make sure they qualify to that after-party event happening next week. Wow, what a win. The aggressiveness that we're just seeing out of this team, they're not slowing down. It doesn't matter who it is, they're just going for it.
Yeah, super impressive performance. Right now, the teams that are able to do well on Miramar before, they're able to step it back up. TJB again going into that. Box stepping it up and actually showing what they're capable of. Also, they were in that compound. They were in a situation where they were fighting so many teams. Circle worked out for them quite well. Box able to get a lot of points out of this game too here, 7.
And I think it's. I want to go back to the fight between Star Wars Esports and Vampire Esports. I feel like that's going to be happening a lot, and I'm all here for it. That's a fight that I want to see hopefully in the next match as well. Right now, honestly, for me, 2 of the best teams of this tournament so far. And can Team Falcon continue to spoil everybody's party?
Yeah, we have one more game to go, guys. That means that we have one more break and one more fantastic disc segment before we go to the last game of the day. So we're going to have a short break. We're going to go to the amazing disc, and they're going to break this game down further.
station compound. Vaz, though, what a heroic effort from him to be able to pull a second place out of all that. He wasn't just shooting at box, he was shooting at Falcons as well, whilst moving from terrain to keep himself covered. I mean, eventually he did go down, but securing a second place off the back of that after the circle moving away from gas station, very excellent play by Vaz.
They were in last place, weren't they, going into this match? Yeah, they were in last place with 1 point.
Alongside back-to-back, they were pretty low as well, I think. Yeah.
I mean, well, Nigma Galaxy were initially 17, and then they were able to shoot up. But I mean, for them to be last place again, 0 chicken dinners in PMPL Pakistan, and they come out with this second place finish is fantastic.
And actually, now that you mentioned that, that's actually sparked something in my brain. This was one of the teams that I was most concerned about because they won Pakistan without a chicken dinner. That's rare that you see that happen. And yes, okay, it shows a team can be consistent about it. But there is that hurdle that you need to get over sometimes in terms of getting that chicken dinner to be able to become a great team. They didn't get the chicken dinner here. That's fair because Falcons was playing an excellent game. But if other things are
super impressive. But as we've been witnessing so far right now, Vampire, they are 30 points ahead of third place. That is nearly unheard of in a stage like this where we have 18 teams competing, the best out of their regions. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, and after match, I think it was match 3, we thought, okay, Vampire Esports is performing really well, but Star Wars, it's also being super, super consistent. They ended up getting those back-to-back third place finishes. But after that, they ended up with the 15th place, 0 elims, and then the 9th place, 7 elims. Yeah, they were able to make up some points there in regards to those 7 elims. But Star Wars Esports wants to continue to get within those top 5 places.
7. I cannot believe the circle we are seeing right now on our screens. It is more than 500 meters away from our plane path. We have like 5 teams that's going to be inside the first circle when they land and start looting. This is going to be an insane game. Right now, back-to-back, they're trying to get redemption. Oh! But Trisby from Box is able to close that one out. Let's see, he's going to be able to get another one out here. Jaye Try to go for the rest,
Me, and he's going to actually be aggressive. He's going to try to go for it. It does backfire. Too. Polo says, sit down. You're not going anywhere. Leave my friends alone. But guess what? Box is going to be able to back it up too.
Oh my God! I can't believe it. Box Gaming is out in 18th place. We've not played more than a couple of minutes, and they are out to our current bottom team. Maybe not after this, but back-to-back have had rough games today. Maybe this one can set them up for greatness here in the last one.
Yeah, I mean, if we go look at the record, they have back-to-back-to-back-to-back bad games.
Oh,
hopefully this is the time where you're just going to cut that off and then Polo there. I mean, good job back-to-back. That's what you want to see out of them.
Exactly.
And guess what?
Oh, more mayhem.
They try to rotate, and no, it's not going to happen. Back-to-back, not being able to get penalized on that great star, and now it's going to be just J7 by himself. And you know RSG is going to hunt them down as they're looking at them.
M16 in hand. Two of the guys are very low, DD and GZ. They are low, but they're pushing up. J7 holding the stairs. Right now, M16, no first dates. It's in a rough situation for this one. We hear some reloading going on downstairs. That's going to be a fun one for the DPS. He finds one. Lighting goes down, goes deep. This is exactly what I love to see in this situation here. First player, when you have a compound breach like this, first player always goes deep, so he's going to be focused on, and then the rest of the guys can just surge in. So not even, they're able to secure everything. They're able to stay 4 guys alive here. Fantastic play and fantastic executions by Reckons.
Yeah, and I mean, it goes to show these teams are here for a reason, right? They are the original winners from their PMPLs in pretty much the spring split. So everybody currently on point, and I'm so glad you broke that down, that push, because you usually don't really see that from other teams. And while we're at it, let's watch PMWI together. Complete daily missions to earn points. Once enough points are accumulated, tap on the rewards icon to claim the corresponding reward.
Yeah, and you can participate in the event solo or as a team. And obviously, if you're playing as a team, it's going to be a little bit easier maybe to get the reward.
Yeah, and while you're at it, I mean, I know I play PUBG Mobile myself, and I know we're big into the skins. There is going to be a sale period between August 4 to August 13. 50% off PMWI packs. Get a set straight away and 5 chances to draw PMWI treasure chests. So much stuff going on. I mean, between August, users in the region of the top 3 teams will have a chance to win a prize, maximum of 1 award per user. So you best believe, I mean, back-to-back, please. I live in NA. Yeah, I just want to get I want to get 1 free award, please.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's see this again here. The denial of the rotation, trying to get deeper. Reckons just saying no to back-to-back and the cleanup. But I will say this, back-to-back did get 4 points. So getting 4 points in 1 game is better than the 9 they've gotten so far in the 5 other games. But I really hope that back-to-back, they're going to be able to step it back up, go back to the hotel, go back, learn some of what they've been taking some of the situations today, and also look at the games because they have been super intricate and super special. Some of the situations we've seen is wild and nearly unheard of in some of the games that we've had.
And I wonder if after seeing, if them possibly seeing the leaderboard, right, they saw themselves in last place. They did have a great start with those 4 Illims. They should have just slowed it down a little bit, but maybe they didn't want to. Maybe they just wanted to go for it, and ultimately they didn't really were able to scout what was going on around them. The other team was able to scout. They heard those gunshots. They knew that somebody was there, and they took advantage of everything. So back-to-back, I'm pretty sure that if they go back and watch that VOD, hopefully they're going to be able to learn a lot for tomorrow. They can still have a chance.
Yeah, it's just the perfect play by Reckons, right? Yep. You see the kill feed, you hear the shots coming out as well. You're able to third-party that situation while they're broken vest, not that much loot. So it's well executed by back-to-back in the situation inside with Box, but Reckons just third-partied them in a perfect time. All right, let's see what Donuts is able to do. And so far, what we've had Vampire Esports and Falcon Esports. They have been doing extremely well right now, sitting in the top, but we have a really, really close top 5 still. Stalwart, Box, and Donuts basically within 3 points of each other from 53 to 52 to 50.7. That's super impressive as well. And obviously, they are fighting for those top spots to make sure they can get to the after party, and that's where all the fun is at.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely where all the fun's going to be. And I'm going to be looking actually at the teams that are currently like 12 and 18, right? Starting off with RSG, they have 24 points, and then you have back-to-back there with 9 points all the way at the bottom. if any of these teams are able to kind of just pull out a great last game here on day one, it's going to set them in such a great position for tomorrow to at least strike and get themselves within the top 7. I mean, we saw what happened with Morph. They started the first 2 matches, 0 points. And after that, guess what? They got a chicken dinner. They were able to get 22 points, and they were able to at least push themselves up to 8. So one game can definitely change the luck of a lot of these teams that are currently between 12 and 18.
All right, Ethan, what are you able to do here? Circle is closing, and it's a wild one. Obviously, a lot of teams are coming in from the southwest. Our plane path was far west, and our circle, first one, popped super far east. A lot of teams are setting themselves up. There's a lot of really good compounds in these situations. Some prefer to play high ground. One of them is Team Soul. We see them right now. They get the information from a ton. The question is, are they going to take it to them? Are they going to wait for the circle, or what's going to happen in this one here?
And I think they're going to want to just keep going.
For sure. Yeah, they're getting information. They're going to go deeper, try to scout for some better compounds. Enigma Galaxy, as you see, also trying to get some more out of it. Potential drive-bys going on, maybe. They see a solo car. That means potential free points. Omega
trying to make sure he gets away. I'm actually surprised Enigma Galaxy wanted to take on that fight, because guess what? They're going to leave their backs just absolutely exposed. That high, we're able to secure their vehicles in a way where their tires are not going to get popped.
Exactly. All right. Circle is closing. Another 10 seconds to the east if they want to continue to have some of those compounds.
And the team that I'm actually intrigued to see what's going to happen. Nobody in their way of being able to rotate into that. And Star Wars Esports might be able to position themselves in a good way with all the fights that are about to ensue.
All right, RSG reckons on screen. It's lightning.
Friends are going to be coming over. RSG is going to have to backfire a little bit more. What I'm intrigued by, Virtual Gaming Squad, the other 2 players, Luigi and also Yafaz, they're staying behind. They don't want to move into this fight.
Inside mansion now, just trading nades, utility back and forth. A lot of smokes coming out, maybe potentially as well from Virtual Gaming Squad. Maybe they want to disengage from this fight here. Oh, now Buggy is out there. One shot still staying. They just want to completely get away from this one here. One shot with some damage. GZ finds a Gaddafi and one shot with a nade. That is huge for them. And Reckons potentially able to close some more points out. Oh my god, finds another one. Oh, I can't believe it. Virtual Gaming Squad in shamble after this one.
And to be honest, Avenger, I don't know if a virtual gaming squad was thinking about this. Those two players stayed there way too long, and the other players stayed in the building for too long. I mean, maybe they were expecting RSG to push out, and they were going to be able to get an angle on them. It didn't end up happening, and RSG, guess what? You're going to be happy. You were able to at least get a nail them. You might not be able to get the second one, and then you're going to get a free rotation out of it. Oh, they're actually going to be aggressive. They're going to continue on that fight. Lightning does crash into the rock. It's going to backfire for him. He does get knocked. Faluji tried to get another knock. He gets it too. He's going to try to secure this Illims, but he needs to be careful because Flower Seed was shooting at him. There is some players that have an angle limit. Oh, Faluji! So close, yet so far away from being able to find that cover.
Gaddafi, last player for Virtual Gaming Squad. Can he make something happen? Or is he going to be able to pick up the pieces left on the ground? There are 2 knocks right now for Regans, DD and Lightning. GZ is going to be able to push into that garage. Let's see if Flower C is going to cover that angle that Gaddafi potentially has. He has the information now, and now he's going to close it out. Gaddafi wants to go for the rest, of course, upstairs, but Flower C wants to deny that.
And at this point, Regans has already just picked up everybody. They're replenishing the Flower Seed, though. Does end up getting hurt. He's going to have to slow down a little bit here. He's going to come a grenade. He does throw that grenade perfectly. GC! Wow! Talk about knowing where the enemy team is going to be. He read that perfectly.
So well played by him. Now Enigma Galaxy waiting for the circle to pop. It's going to pop, and it's going to go slightly south, but still wide center. A lot of teams could go into the prison here in this situation. It's very, very centered on that. Starwater looking good. Enigma Galaxy could be going early. Bevo Keat still scouting a little bit. A lot of teams are on the northwest side of the circle, so there is a lot of space on the southeast side of this new pop here.
The Star Wars Esports, I want to figure out if they're going to go into actual prison or if they're going to try to take that mountain, that overview, and just set themselves up. It seems like they want to be at the base of it, and we're going back to the RSGGC. I mean, talk about just reading that player like a book, and he did just that. The grenade was wonderful, and overall, RSG, what a play out of them. I felt like Virtual Gaming Squad once again just played that absolutely awful, taking off too long and being out too spread away. For them, just you either want to take the fight or you don't want to take the fight. Hopefully tomorrow we'll see a little bit more certainty out of that team.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's see what they're able to do here. While we look at how the different players play the game. Some play 3 fingers. Some of the wild ones play 4. I'm not even close to being able to do that. These guys are just wild, and the speed they're able to put onto this screen here is obviously amazing. Again, thanks to Sony Xperia for joining us here, sponsoring the event, the official smartphone partner for the Gamers 8 and PMWI.
I was looking at Omega's hand cam there. I thought he was only going to be playing thumbs. I was like, wow, that's impressive. At this level, you're used to seeing people just playing with 4 fingers or 6 all the time. It's been a while since I've seen just a thumb player. And as I say that, I think
another one.
As I say that, Missile might actually be one of those players with just yeah. Look at these setups. They're only playing with 2 thumbs. And then you
have
so many
some
variations.
of them already. Yeah, it's crazy, and that's the beautiful thing, right? You can set up the game exactly how you want to play it. Put the buttons around however you prefer it. You can play gyro, no gyro, and obviously some of the best players, they're able to use 3-4 fingers and the gyro. So that is the wild thing. Okay, let's see what is going to happen the rest of the game here. We have Aton. They are putting out a little bit of bullets towards the Donuts guys. They are trying to rotate in. They're trying to get into a better position on the western side. Try to get into shelter and maybe deeper in. And that's going to be a hard one for them. They have a lot of teams ahead of them that potentially could be shooting in their direction. Lightning found Morph. Say is down. It's not good for Morph. So
I'm intrigued to see what Aton Esports is going to be able to do here. This is a team that is so consistent when it comes to Latin America. For the longest time, it was all about Team Queso, and then Aton Esports, that's the main team. But it seems to be, at least to me, from what we've seen so far of the previous Globals events that they have played, they just farm in the region. Right now, they haven't been able to find the groove here in regards to just global events against other regions.
Wow.
Hopefully this will be different. And when you talk about a shift, oh, man, Sour Esports, they really don't have to do much. They're just going to try to go up on that mountain right next to Prison.
Yeah, exactly. They could potentially take the Lion's Rock, but I think they're going to maintain control on the right side, basically the east side of the Prison Hill there. That's where some of the better areas are. Falcons sending it in. Powerful going down to DD. Potentially going to lose him. I don't see them surviving that one. DD, more shots coming in, finding Never Alone as well. Falcon is losing multiple players in this situation here. Flush coming in elimination is confirmed. And let's see if they're going to be able to take further or put further damage into Falcons here. Oh, Yusuf finds Flower C. And they're turning it around potentially.
And I'm glad
Lightning.
that Team Falcon decided to take on this fight. Lightning almost getting caught. Team Falcon, though, surprisingly for them to actually...
One Kia rotating in their Kias. And they're now inside the prison area, holding down one of these situations. Aton losing multiple players. That is so unfortunate. Damwon Kia is able to clean that one up.
And
they're going to be walking away with eliminations. Exactly. Now, one defeat for them. We're down to 14 teams. There's 50 players left alive still in this tiny circle. As you can see, there's so many teams trying to figure out where we're going to go, where we're going to try to get in. And only a few teams have decided to try to crash into the prison. But obviously, they've seen the kill feed. They've seen how many players are going down rapidly. And that could be some of the crashes there in the center. Now, Vampire Esports, your current leader in terms of total points. They are 4 guys strong. 0 eliminations so far in this one, 7. But they are maintaining a lot of control here on that south side.
They are, and they're being sneaky. They're not trying to take a fight where they might end up getting damaged or they might end up getting hurt. And now we're going to go to Donuts against Vivo, one of the teams from Brazil. And guess what? Diego doesn't really know. Oh, Diego's going to be able to turn on him. Can Diego actually secure this knock? I think he would. Oh, he wasn't able to, but he decides to back off. He needs to heal up. This is going to be interesting if Diego. What is Diego going to be able to do? As you see, McGrellin just waiting patiently. Missile, though. With the grenade, can he hit Diego behind that vehicle? He's not able to hit him.
That's a good nade. Another one. He uses so much utility to confirm this. Another Molotov as well. Diego walks away from it, pushes some damage into it. He's going to walk around. He's going to swift. Oh my god, he finds it. He gets him down though. Missile half HP. He's going to confirm the elimination there. And now the rest of the Vivo Kid guys are trying to get most of it. Is Missile. He's under a lot of pressure. He goes down himself. Cielo is able to open it up.
And I was wondering, why didn't Vivo Key do this a little bit sooner? I feel like they waited on too long. You knew exactly where he was. You should have just went for it. Vivo Key now trying to make amends for losing that player. And there you go. That might have been the reason, because they are getting shot from behind. Vivo Key playing this a little bit slower. Team Soul, you see Team Soul getting in a fight there with Enigma Galaxy. Just so many fights currently going on. Now, Otto, we've seen what he's been able to do in previous matches. Can he do that again? Can he clutch up for his team against Vivo Key?
Oh.
He is! He takes the fight. He is able to confirm the Elim, though, before he ends up getting eliminated himself.
So unfortunate for the Vivo Kid Stars. They have to make a situation where they are resting one player and then they try to take the fight. Meanwhile, they should have gone 3 players, focus on the fight, try to clean up, and then go for the rest afterwards, I feel like. But unfortunately for them, it doesn't work out as well. Still survive, get the points on the board. Next circle shift, it goes north in this new circle, and Prison is a huge part of this endgame here.
It is, and I think one of the teams, I'm just going to go back to them. I've been talking about them the whole match. Star Wars Esports, what are they going to do? I think they're just going to try to set themselves up.
Did you coming out towards Falcons? Crowd favorite right now. 2nd place overall. TJP putting some damage into 52. This is a pull-up, Alec. I've never seen one good push. Yusuf gone down. It's a trade, basically. Damar, last player. Is he going to be able to do something? He finds another one. I can't believe it. It takes RSG down single-handedly. Team Falcons close them out.
Team Falcon just continuing to surprise people, and guess what? They're able to do it again, winning those 1v1s and getting those trades if they do end up losing somebody. If one of their teammates ends up getting knocked, and then guess what? I was talking about earlier, Star Wars Esports against 52 Esports. They're going to go up against each other. Enigma trying to figure out how they're going to be able to break into this, but it is Vampire Esports that they are going to be going up against. That's a team that's just really hot right now.
Really interesting. Another part is that we have a lot of teams that are full form and alive. 5 teams: Wildcats, Enigma Galaxy, Vampire Esports, TTP, Star, 4 rivals as well. 4 players strong here, 7. That's going to be a huge impact in the late game.
It really is. Let's see this fight. What's going to happen? Team Falcons gets eliminated. 3 elims, though, and a 9th place finish for them.
Very
Not
respectable.
a bad way to go out, considering their previous performances. And Vampire Esports, now here comes the push. What's going to happen with Digby Galaxy? We do see 2 players knocked. Digby lower, being able to knock one of the other players, and that's going to back him up a little bit. Maybe it forces Vampire Esports to slow down a little bit, but Vampire is currently being able to get an angle on him.
Yeah, they're putting on pressure from multiple angles in this situation. Lord and Freak, last players from Enigma Galaxy, and Fluke and Stone is last 2 players from Vampire. Who closes this? Freak, Vampire Esports.
STC. No, I'm just it's messing with 7. I mean, he is my son after all, Avenger and I mean, he is half our height. We are taking a look at Stalwart Esports with their 30 points. Now, I know, Maxman, typically you've been cursed when it comes to your predictions. However, the Kalaris Blessing cancels out your curse, and Stalwart take a win.
So basically, you need to keep Kalaris with me, or otherwise things do go haywire. But
I got some bad news for you. Guess who's casting tomorrow?
Just change the rotation.
I mean, it's a good job we're always on the desk together at this point, eh? It's very impressive by Stalwart.
Yeah, I mean, Stalwart really at that finishing there, like, you really did not want them to go in prison, right, Kalaris? I mean, I really understood that you did not want that to happen, but that high ground position, not only for the informational game, but they kept applying pressure on the teams down below every single time. And then when there's less players, just push in.
What gave it away to you that I didn't want them to go into prison?
I think the fact you said it like 50 times in the span of 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's ultimately when you look at a circle like this, and you know, I like Damwon Kia and I bow to our South Korean overlords time and time again when it comes to esports, but don't go into prison if you are not absolutely sure it's going to end there. That's the only time you go in. If you're absolutely sure it's going to end in prison, because getting out of there is difficult. Stalwart were in a position where they could have potentially gone there, but this team is too veteran, too much veterans. They take the high ground above it. It's a great little unlock to be able to see exactly what's going on north of you, as well as kind of on the high ground in general. And then you dispatch of the team coming out of prison with nades, with utility, with all your guns.
I mean, they got 15 eliminations, so they definitely had a role to play in, like, especially your Damwon's Kia not be able to make it out of that position in the first place because they have the high ground.
And in an interesting scenario, of course, coming into today, I think, Max, we expected this to be the case. Yeah. Stalwart is a star-studded lineup here. They're going to be joining that top pack, and effectively, you've got 3 teams now, very much so up there, where I thought maybe 1 team might have that kind of threshold, but 3 in one day?
It's insane, yeah.
Insane in the Membrane is a song.
No,
I don't know where I go with this. Let's just say I've not been listening to anything you guys have just said. No, I'm just kidding. That's I always listen to what you guys say because you know what? You guys have some spot on analysis. I want to give a quick shout out to Aramco. Again, another organization helping sponsor and make this event happen for us. PMWI and, of course, G8 as well, which has many other titles that all happened weeks before. But that's why we end on PUBG Mobile, the best game here. Also, a big shout out to Sony, the Sony Xperia 1.4, so the official smartphone provider here for PUBG Mobile. So big shout out to them as well. But gentlemen, we've already had like so many great games. See, not one team just took it away. Like, yeah, we talked about Vampire. They had a phenomenal game 1 with 39 points. But to see so many other teams step up and so many other teams able to keep up with them and, you know, rise up throughout the day was phenomenal.
Yeah, it's great to see no favorites coming into the tournament. Also having a local team with a lot of fans over in the audience, like actually performing extremely well. Yeah. Vampire, clearly, I would say, Kalaris, the big surprise of the day. But got to talk about action here on this game. What an absolute beast gamer.
I mean, this is the thing, right? We came in and we think to ourselves, every single one of the players on Stalwart can perform and pop off. So when you see Action being able to take an 1100 damage win here off the back of 8 eliminations for just himself, I mean, yeah, there's probably help there, but geez.
And you know what? It's actually interesting because you see Action do so well today.
Yeah.
We have yet to see Top pop off. And he is like really, he was the MVP of his own region.
Yes.
Like when he starts to get involved alongside Action, like, bro, first place.
But Pika can do it too. Like, they're highlight machines.
Give it an Orm. Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
You know, the thing is, you are making a very good point, right, Max? We haven't really seen Top perform exceptionally well today where we've seen in the past. But again, I think that's part of the power of Stalwart Esports, right? Is they have so many heavy hitters on the team that you don't need Top to pop off to have success within the roster.
Exactly. Like, you just always have Action and Top as your typical double fragging duo. You have Pika as the IGL, also the scout/sniper of the team that always doing his job. And one player that I think is very rarely talked about is Scry. Like, being able to set up, support Top and Action while you're going for like breaches or defending compounds. Like, he is the man in the shadows setting up the team. I think without him, Top and Action would have a lot harder times to secure as many eliminations as they do.
I think there is a concern for all the other teams in the lobby here as well, in that you don't want a team like Stalwart getting an early win in this tournament, because we've already seen, even before this win, they were ultra consistent in placement. Now they got themselves a win. Going into these next days, if I'm other teams, I'm trying to figure out maybe how to stifle Stalwart a little bit here, even though they are Stalwart in their defense.
Well, I mean, that's the question. Do you need to try to stifle one team, or do you just need to focus on yourself and perform better?
Yeah.
I mean, that's always something you have to ask yourself, and at some point you will have to ask that if you're maybe in the number 2, number 3, number 4 position of how do we stop this top team and get ourselves in the first place and win ourselves the $500,000 first place prize. You guys at home can win items as well, as we have the Vibe and Drive event currently happening within PUBG Mobile. You can log into the game and do some missions with your friends if you have them. If you don't, Maxman said he will help you out, so make sure to hit him up over on Instagram, over on Twitter. And you can win yourself a free legendary, permanent legendary set. So you guys don't miss it. Make sure you guys check it out because it's going to be awesome. And Maxman, you're going to have a lot of PUBG Mobile to play here in the next few days.
I'm going to be gaming a lot.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we got to talk about Team Falcons and see them play throughout the entire day. Luckily for us, we have Banks on the stage with a live interview brought to you by MasterCard with Team Falcons.
Welcome back to the main stage, where I'm joined by Never Alone from Team Falcons. Congratulations, you've played incredibly well today. Currently, you're sitting in 3rd place going into Game 2. You're only 12 points away from the top spot. We just wanted to find out, what did you practice the most leading up to this tournament? What are you focused on at the moment?
معانا نيفر ألون من فريق فالكونز قدروا انهم يجيبون المركز الثالث معنا بفارق 12 نقطة ما بينهم وبين المركز الأول. ألف مبروك نيفر ألون. السؤال الأول اللي بغينا نسألك إياه اللي هو إيش التدريبات اللي أنتم مريتوا فيها قبل ما توصلون لما البطولة، قبل ما تبدون تلعبون في البطولة، وش اللي مريتوا فيه؟
كنا ندرس يعني روتيشنات الأتيام بشكل، وكنا ندري ان يعني بنهايه الزونات راح يكون في عدد كبير، فنحتاج يعني نتوغل بين الاتيام ونتمركز بافضل مكان ونطلع بافضل نتيجه. الحمد لله يعني قدرنا نحصل نقاط ممتازه.
Never Alone is saying that the main focus that they were working on is the rotations that they have been basically exploring with the other teams, and they were trying their best to basically study the rotations for the last circle, since they are expecting that a lot of teams are going to be surviving until the last circle. So the main thing that is they're going to have positioning as good as possible in the last circle, and then they can just win off of that.
So something that myself and Fancy, we were backstage, we were talking to some of the other casters, and they mentioned something quite interesting. Now, a lot of times this gets overlooked, but the coaches, your coach in particular, Joy Boy, is known for being very well prepared, very thorough as a coach. Has he helped you with creating, that extra space for you when you're focusing on rotations in the late game?
سؤال كثير من الناس يسألونه، سواء كان من المعلقين أو حتى من الجمهور، عن الكوتش حقكم اللي هو جوي بوي، والفيدباك اللي احنا نعرف من الكوميونتي حقه انه جدا ممتاز. فكنا ودنا نعرف وش الاشياء اللي ساعدكم فيها انكم تتدربون عليها قبل ما تبدون في البطولة.
وجود جوي بوي مهم مرة للتيم، لأن يعني أقدر أساعدك يعني قبل البطولة من الناحية التكتيكية والناحية يعني العاطفية، يعني كيف يعني تتجهز منتلي للبطولة. ويعني قبل البطولة كان يتكلم مع الأتيام ويحاول يعني يعرف طريقة لعبهم. ساعدنا الشيء هذا بأول يوم.
So Joy Boy, basically the main thing that he was focusing on is helping the team with their mental health before they jump into the game, and as well as studying the other team's basically strategy and the things that they were doing inside the game. So to basically help out Falcons to be able to predict what they're going to do and how to win against them.
Sounds like a good coach. Now, before I let you leave, we have to ask you, you're the home team. You've got the home crowd, you're on stage in your home country. We have to find out, what does it mean to you to have the whole professional PUBG Mobile community here and to be competing here in your home country?
قبل ما نروح نيفرلون حبينا نسألك السؤال تواجدك معنا في المسرح بهالحجم مع الأضواء مع الجمهور مع كل الناس اللي يشجعونكم في مدينة الرياض في الهوم كراود اللي موجود عندكم وش الشعور هذا بالنسبة لكم وش يعني لكم كفريق؟
وجود الأفرقة العالمية للأمانة يعني تجربة جميلة جدا خاصة في المملكة العربية السعودية ولكن يعني نحاول يعني نخلي البطولة في المملكة ونتمنى لهم يعني التوفيق.
He's very happy that all the teams, all the best teams in the world are here with us in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh, participating in the PUBG Mobile Global, World Invitational. And they were just talking about mainly trying their best to keep the trophy here in Saudi and win it at the end of the tournament.
Well, let's hope that you can do that. Never Alone, thank you so much for joining us on the stage after your post-match interview. And everyone in the Gamers 8 arena, please give it up for Team Falcons. That's right, make some noise, make some noise. We're going to be throwing it back over to the analyst desk to round up the day before we go.
يعطيكم العافية أعزائنا المشاهدين والحضور رح نتوجه على طول للاستديو.
Thank you so much, Banks and Fancy, of course, of Never Alone as well. I love to hear them talking about Joybo. I'm so glad they actually did a question about him because we've been talking about the importance of coaches so much. And as they stress, working on the mental game for Team Falcons is so important, especially when you go into a live event and you're playing in front of your home crowd and you're playing against some of the best teams in the world. You have to have a strong mindset.
Yeah. Having a strong mindset going into an offline event is super important. And as COVID is sort of winding down a little bit, you're going to have potentially more of these. So if they perform this well on the first offline event in ages, imagine what they can do in potentially a PMGC. You never know, they can make it there and pop off over there. So that is huge experience to get.
And the great thing from seeing these 6 games unfold is that it's not gimmicky. They're not sending and just hoping for something. They're actually looking strong. They're looking solid about how they're approaching the game. So that's what I take away from it mostly. That there's no gimmicks, there's no tricks, there's no magic going on. It's just solid gameplay.
Yeah, and I'm so happy to see them be able to play at this event, which is actually brought to you by Saudi, another great company to help make this event happen. But it is time now, with the final match now done, to transition into our post-day discussion, right? Brought to you by VOV, because we had 6 matches happen. We had different winners every time. We've had some teams really stand out. We've had some teams underperform a bit, Enigma Galaxy. But we need to take a look at our... I'm fair to say that. Don't give me that look, guys. Let's take a look at our daily winners, though.
Talking about.
To get an idea, obviously, what went after the day if you missed any of the matches. And you can see here, first match of the day massively stood out for us, as we did get to see Vampire. Was it 24 eliminations, 3,600 damage done. I don't even know why I looked at you. It literally says on the screen how
Don't look at me for numbers. That's not the plan, man.
But it was a fantastic start to the entire PMWI.
Your reliance on Max has become tenfold.
It's too much.
Max, help me out. It's like, no, it's okay. Don't worry
not
about
for numbers.
it.
You should not do that. Yeah.
No, definitely not. But yeah, I think it's great that we've already seen 6 different winners across the board. Oftentimes when we come into these things, you'll have a team that's just kind of almost devil may care, but still extremely powerful, and then maybe they get themselves 2, even 3 chicken dinners on that first day to really set themselves apart. But with what we've seen in terms of, especially the 3 top teams set themselves apart, is strong consistency throughout the day, and to be able to pull that off on the world stage is something special.
Yeah, I mean, every single team is part of different regions, right? And you often talk about the clash of regions and which one is the strongest, etc. You're seeing regions that normally do not perform that well internationally. You're looking at, of course, TJB Esports Europe. You're looking also at the side of Japan here with Donuts. It is very, very impressive to see, with also favorites performing like Team Falcons, like Stalwart on top of that. So I'm stoked, and I'm really hyped to see how the next 2 days are going to go, because it's still anyone in the top 3 mostly, but still anyone can catch up.
Everyone's logos are back to front. I feel like I'm looking into the mirror world, but yeah, there we are.
STE is like, it's...
Let's take a look at our overalls, right? We did to see Vampire on the top of the table for most of the day, and they will end things out at the top.
Wow.
However, not by the lead that we maybe expected.
it is top 3, like being a pretty significant amount above the rest, right? Like it is going to be these guys you want to catch up to.
What did I say halfway through the day? I did think Stalwart was still going to take over. They're slightly shy of taking over, but that is testament to how much Vampire Esports came out and blasted from the word go. If that first game doesn't happen, then geez, where would they be here relative to Stalwart, who we had such high expectations for coming in? So it really speaks to how talented Vampire Esports is to hold number 1.
I mean, to be fair, looking at this down the list, Max, one thing that stands out to me is like the diversity in regions. Obviously, we only have like one region, or one team per region, basically. But you look over towards Japan with Donuts, which is already like a standout to me. We haven't really seen Japan do well except Tell Bluebees. You look down lower, you have Vietnam with Box Gaming. You have Western Europe with TJB, and Malaysia with 4 Rivals. You have Brazil with Vivo Keyed. You have a lot of these regions that not necessarily known for being heavy hitters coming into an event and being a heavy hitter.
I still truly believe that Vivo Key can be a dark horse of the tournament. I think this first day, as expected for a lot of these teams, it was going to be like a testing the waters kind of situation. They had some rough times, they had some good times at that, and I think that they could expect some way better day, tomorrow, heading into day 3. Also, I think this first day, you're going to go back to the hotel, you're going to do that VOD review, and hopefully you have a healthy breakfast the next day to get ready.
Well, I mean, the buffet we have at the hotel does have a plethora of things we could choose from for a healthy breakfast. Looking down the list, though, one thing that's going to stand out, currently 9th place, the team from China, RSG. 25 elims, 11 placements. Now, Claris, you were talking about this earlier on, and if you guys missed out, I want you to kind of refresh your minds of what you mentioned about China has probably the most different meta and play style than any other region out there.
Yes, because they're playing with different size lobbies. They're playing with different stipulations on their first and second phase eliminations.
Exactly.
And RSG is a team that I've studied quite extensively when it comes to coming into this tournament, because the region is so prolific, is that they're looting quick, trash drop loot, get themselves an early fight. That then displaces some of that maybe disadvantage of maybe not getting some eliminations later, because you're getting 2 points per elimination instead of 1. And then you're kind of effectively stealing away some of that loot from your opponents, and then you're set for the later game, right? For here, though, 25 eliminations is respectable, but placement points is an absolute disaster here for RSG.
Yeah.
This is not what we expect from, especially the Chinese representation, coming into day number 1. Let's see if they can adapt over the next 2 days, but it is a tough adaptation. It really is.
I would love to see RSG make it to the after party, because we got some of the rules that came through, right? Like first elimination, first squad wipe. Like they would play really well in that.
They're good at that first elimination.
Pretty good at it.
First squad wipe. We can win a lot of money doing that.
Well, looking down the list, though, we see another team on the other side of that coin, Morph. They have a chicken dinner, 21 placements, 9 elims. Now, I would definitely favor a team that has more limbs and placements than a team that has more placements than limbs, because I think, to me, limbs are more important, more impactful. You kind of can push your weight around the lobby. But for Morph, the team representing Indonesia, I mean, prolific region when it comes to PUBG Mobile,
Absolutely.
the likes of BTR, I don't think they're going to be happy with this result.
There was a lot of question marks for me around Morph coming in, because you, as you say, you're coming in from the region that has RRQ, EVOS, BTR. All of these names are storied in PUBG Mobile. You better be doing them justice. They qualified as Ion Esports back then. Then they kind of came along with Jaye here to be able to provide the name Morph. But overall, this is not good enough. 9 elims over 6 games is a bit of a disaster for a team coming out of that region. They need to change their ideas quick if they want to be pushing up the leaderboards.
Yeah. And so far, it's one-hit wonder, right, for Morph. And also another one-hit wonder team was 52 Esports, I would say. That Miramar game where they played that gas station, really good. Vaz especially standing out for the team for Pakistan. Like, it is not a team that I would have put, like, being able to pop off in the lobby like this. They had one good game. Hopefully they can look back on that and, build upon that kind of success they had in that game in the next days.
But it makes you wonder, right, how many of those shots were warning shots holding off people, and how much of it was people not wanting to crash into that compound because there was all these other eyes on them, right? Like, so that's my concern there about that game. And if, since they were able to get so many points, Vaz, as you say, played a great final moment in that game. Let's see what they can do in the next coming days.
Yeah, and obviously still have 2 days left to go, but they are running out of matches, and it leads me to almost want to talk about MVPs. Before we get to that, we're going to talk about an MVP sponsor here with Sony Xperia 1 4, created in collaboration with professional esports players and the official smartphone partner here at PUBG Mobile. MVP in my heart, MVP to all the players as well, but it is also time to see who is our MVP of the day. Now, normally, if you guys watch PMPL Western Europe, I ask these guys, who do you predict? Okay, never mind. Okay, they caught it.
Oh, you can put anyone.
Yet.
You can put anyone.
It could be anyone.
Michael Zauxi.
I think they're like, oh, no, hold on, don't do it yet. I always ask you guys to predict who the MVP is going to be. But I'm not going to do that today. Let's see who the MVP actually is. I like to see how scared you guys were.
Mike.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay,
We're
we're
both
supposed to
saying
predict. Mike who?
Mike. Wazowski.
Not Mike Wazowski. Jeez Louise, get on with it.
He's not playing. He's in the after party. Don't worry. It's fine.
Okay, well, you know what? We're not going to show you guys who the MVP is.
Okay.
Maybe tomorrow, before we start the match, we'll actually show you who the MVP is going to be. Wait, I'm sorry. I have to get you guys excited.
We got teased.
All right, Max is the host now.
Oh, no.
If you guys knew how terrified he gets every time that I do that to him. But gentlemen, let's round out the day really quick. I want to hear, like, what were the highs for you in this day of action?
I think it's really like having Falcons perform on like home soil is great to see, and having a like actual audience like supporting a team that's able to get a chicken dinner, being hyper consistent. For me, it feels great to be back at this stage in PUBG Mobile esports, and I hope that the next few days are going to be even better because what a kickoff.
Yeah. Game 1 for me stands out. Vampire really started things off with a bang. And the best bit for me about it was it's not like they were gifted a position. It's not like the circle came to them. They were constantly fighting from the rotate south from Primorsk all the way around to Bridge, down in through Rozhok. It was a great showing for Vampire from the very word go, and they're looking good because of it.
Well, they still have 2 days to continue to prove they can be the top of the table. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to end off our first day here at PMWI 2022. And I'm going to leave you guys with a recap brought to you by Dr. Suleiman Al-Habib, as we are going to close things out with some beautiful shots.
अब सुपर ब्रांड्स पर मिलेंगे सुपर ऑफर्स।
भाई मैच में जैसे ही एंट्री हुई तब तक किसी के गाने की आवाज आने लगी।